Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the NAISCC Race Car Graveyard Truck Series. It's race number 11, and we're here at the mile-and-a-half of Charlotte Motor Speedway. Welcome to all the fun here tonight. Before we get to racing action and get to the details, we got to talk about some of the most amazing sponsors we have here on Monday night. Starting things off, we got ourselves with that at Race Car Graveyard. Race Car Graveyard is the place to go get your racing diecast if you're trying to get in your racing diecast collections. They've got so many diecasts, those from 1/24th to 1/64th ratios. They've got new, used, and customs, all available right now. And if you go use the promo code RCGY, you can go receive 10% off. Go to Instagram, follow at that of Race Car Graveyard for more information. And also message them, let them know Freaky Fast Broadcasting sent you. And as well, our Rookie of the Year award sponsor at Hot Lap Designs. Hot Lap Designs is probably one of the most affordable schemes that you can go get for iRacing. You've got great quality for that of custom, also classics. They got you covered in that of cars, suits, they've got it all. And if you are looking also for vehicles in the dirt, asphalt, oval, or even road course cars, it doesn't matter. Hot Lap Designs can do it. Thank you to those two amazing sponsors. We've got plenty more that we'll talk about later on in our broadcast, but tonight it is for that of the Armadillos digging for 225, presented by that of Colored Teal Graphics for tonight's race for 150 laps at Charlotte. It certainly is going to be a good one. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Freaky Fast Broadcasting Monday Night Racing Action. My name is Sam Dyer. With me is Zach Hall. Robert Moyer running productions here tonight. Zach, it's been 10 races of amazing action, storylines that have been building up to this point. But man, here at Charlotte, one of the most, I would say, utilized, most well-known racetrack on iRacing and also to the world, Charlotte Motor Speedway. What are you expecting here tonight?
Well, I believe this place is the home of NASCAR, other than the Daytona International Raceway. Most race teams located here, so definitely well familiar here with Charlotte as we enter, like you said, here tonight, Sam. But man, another Monday night here at the Race Car Graveyard Truck Series. I mean, it's the unexpected, I think, that is what we're really looking for. I mean, you never know what type of product we're going to get out there. I mean, it could be a completely green race where we just get that stage break at lap 70, or we could see mayhem break loose. So, I mean, it's one of those things that we kind of really never know what we got. And, Charlotte is a track we know a lot about, a cookie cutter track that is kind of, our basic bread and butter racetrack in NASCAR that we know so much about, but still, this place can heat up, especially with this package we have with these trucks not getting away from each other. You're going to be on top of your competition all night. Let's see who can do it the best, though, out here for 150 laps.
One of the factors I want to touch on that we're going to bring up is the weather. That has been a big thing for these drivers during practice here this evening. For the practice session when it first started, it was a very cool track around 82 to 86 degrees Fahrenheit. But Zach, you see on our graphic on the right side, 103 degrees is the track temp. 83 degrees is our ambient temperature with a little bit of a 6 mile an hour breeze from the west. But I got to say, this track temp is going to be a factor, I think, from my point of view, and it's already raised up another degree. That could be something for these drivers for qualifying they have to watch out for.
Yeah, I think the guys who've got out there early in this lap here to get their laps in will actually really benefit from this because, like you said, that temperature is kind of going up and down as we look at it, and it's definitely an interesting scenario to see. And I think what that mostly is down to is this mostly cloudy condition here. Mostly cloudy here on iRacing. That means we're going to have any condition from bright sunshine to completely overcast almost. So it could be really anything. It's going to be all over the place. And keeping up with that as a driver, it can be very difficult. And as this race goes on, the track's not only going to change with the rubber you lay down, but that weather is going to be a constant factor in how this racetrack changes. Also, Charlotte Motor Speedway seems to be one of the most reactive tracks when it comes to daytime racing to nighttime racing with how different the product is here.
And right now, after the first collection of drivers hitting the course, it's going to be Thomas Green with his second lap on track. Going to be the best time so far for the 15, a 30.580. It's going to be the time to try to beat. And right now, watching some other drivers hitting the course currently, this is going to be the 10 that we're watching on board. This is going to be that of Perry Tribune. And Tribune's been showing a lot of speed here recently. Also trying to find some consistency. Found a little bit of misfortune last week at Dover, but this 10's been looking fast. And also Zach, it's been a wild couple of weeks here for this truck series. We had the controversy at Las Vegas. Then last week had probably one of the best finishes that we could have asked for with a three truck battle at Dover. Here at Charlotte, though, yeah, again, an unknown for the majority of these drivers. But for qualifying, we're 3 minutes in, 2 minutes are left. Right now, it's still Thomas Green up top, but that's a driver that we've been kind of when we haven't been on air questioning what is up with this 15.
Yeah, I think that is a big question lingering around for a lot of people, and I think even Thomas Green asked that himself because, we look at the stats, and just compared to what he's done in the race, the stats do not really add up. I mean, he's had multiple races this season where he could have been not only a winner, but for sure a top 5 contender, and this man is yet through the first 10 races yet to get a top 5, and I think that is kind of mind-blowing for me with the speed he's shown. I mean, right now, sitting atop the board was very, very quick in practice there. I think he'll show again that pace again here in this race during these 150 laps. The key is, does he get to the finish with that pace still intact? I think that is going to be the one thing we're going to have to watch out for Thomas Green. If he can get that rolling, he can actually become a factor when those playoffs start to kick off here really quickly, and he could be a big factor when it starts getting rolling for him, but he's got to get to the finishes and keep that truck clean.
Can he get out of the slump, the 15-10, or will he find more misfortune? A driver that's trying to find a little bit of luck himself, Martin Morales Jr. in the 91, going to be coming out of turn number 4 for his first lap here at qualifying. Eric Stamp is another driver that just got done with qualifying. He's going to be 9th. But Martin Morales Jr. going to be one of the last drivers here to try to qualify. We got ourselves 40 seconds left. Zach, this will be our last lap of qualifying. What do you think for Martin here? First lap, going to be 21st currently for himself.
Yeah, we'll see if he can get a little bit of a pickup there, but you see the big slide he had there off of 2. That was a little bit worrisome for me. Definitely going to lose a little bit of speed from that. We'll see if the second lap does amount to something better, but right there is that 21st second best time. We'll see as he crosses the line. Does he pick up any type of speed? No, actually he's going to lose about a 1/10 of a second there on that second lap. So that mistake there, too, could come back to cost him there for that starting position back in 21st.
24 drivers put a time down. The difference, just a little bit over 3 that of 3/10 of a second is the difference between our top 24 in their qualifying. Here at Charlotte, it's been a track. It's free on iRacing once you get your membership, and it's a track a lot of drivers have had to test on how well they can come at mile-and-a-half courses. We'll see how they can test for themselves, but before we get to racing action, we got another sponsor we got to thank. It's our qualifying results sponsor, that at Sac City, that of Diecast. Hey, if you haven't got enough diecast from that of Race Car Graveyard, well, Sac City Diecast is the next place to go. They also have an Instagram to go to, at Sac City Diecast. They've got themselves also on eBay. You can find themselves with vintage drivers, teams, and diecast sizes of all varieties. Again, that is Sac City Diecast. Thank you for being our qualifying results sponsor. But getting on top of the board, it's the driver that's looking for a little bit of extra luck with his first qualifying pole position. It's going to be that of Thomas Green in the 15. With Trent Jump going to be in second, with Paul Bergoli going to be in third place. Isaac Shelley going to be in fourth, with Cody Reed, Alexander Light. That's a good qualifying for the 97, with Anthony Gaudio, Ollie Fonseca, and Eric Kralik going to be in our top 9. And finishing at our top 10, it's GT Irizarry.
Back in the 11th position, it's Morris G. Bogan. Alongside him, it's going to be the 00 Ethan Smith there after that went over last week. 13th place is going to go to the 81 of Jason Tamer, with 14th going to our points leader, John Forbes. 15th place going to be the 12 of Ryan Ferrara. Alongside him is going to be Logan Brakey in the 29 machine in that 16th position. 17th is going to go to Cody Dorsey. 18th is going to be the 35 of Gregory Shaw. And our last row of the top 20 in the 19th and 20th start position is Eric Stamp and Dakota Moniz.
The last few drivers, we have that of Martin Morales going to be in 21st, with that of Kerry Tribune going to be in 22nd, Carl Pooler in 23rd, that of Dylan Walterman, Blake Howell, as well as that of Christopher Norris. Tyler Dangler going to be your 27 drivers getting ready to race here tonight. Again, it is going to be here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. It's the Armadillos digging for 225, presented by Colored Teal Graphics. And what's been fun is each race finding themselves a sponsor in this series. And tonight's sponsor actually coming from that Armadillo Motorsports team, where we got Trenton Jump, that of Eric Stamp, Logan Brakey. Those 3 drivers have been running very well this season here, Zach. But also controversy has been shrouded around this team. They've had issues. They're hoping that those issues don't carry over here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, they've definitely had issues and had issues coming at them. So, it's definitely, a lot of bit dodging for them, I'd say, and not. It's been kind of back and forth, but I tell you what, they're hard racers, and they're going to come out here tonight and put on a show. I think Trenton Jump starting there second for that team. I mean, what better race to win here it would be for him, but his team-sponsored race, that would be a good way to go out, and hopefully his other two teammates, Breaky and Stamp, can get themselves up there also.
Last time we were at a mile and a half was Las Vegas, where Trenton Jump thought he was going to be able to get a win, but was taken out by Danny Cochran. We'll see if the 46 here at another mile and a half, if he can get himself into victory lane. The drivers are stacked. They're ready to go. Our stage break for tonight going to be at the end of lap 80. We're going to see how these drivers can survive for 80 laps here tonight. The pace truck getting ready to pull off. It's race number 11 of the NAISCC Race Car Graveyard Truck Series, and it's the Amardellas digging for 225, presented by Color Teal Graphics, and we are green here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, and it's going to be on the outside. Trenton Jump with the better launch. A little bit of struggle there for that of green, and Zach, that is not the way you want to start out here tonight.
Yeah, Thomas Green already a little bit of a mistake there on that restart, but he's able to somewhat recover there in that second position here, but can't get too aggressive here early and get himself in trouble. Like we said, he needs to get to the finish of these races if he wants to show what type of pace he actually has. But back there battling for that third position as they head off into 3, it's Paul Bragoli and Isaac Shelley.
Bragoli going to be also able to clear his way moving forward. Now it's Cody Reed and Isaac Shelley. They're going to be side by side. It's the 98. He's got to find his way to get down below, but up front, Trent Jump, that also of Thomas Green, going to be on top of one another. And this is a very kind of a little bit of a deja vu of the battling we saw at Las Vegas. Now it's time to see if they can duel this one out without taking each other out. As down into turn number 3, it's still Trenton Jump, but side by side. Going to be for that of 4th, all the way back to practically that of 15th. Just side by side action all over the place for these drivers in the middle of the pack.
Yeah, these opening 2 laps, it's been a bunch of side-by-side action, really from that 5th position on back there. Shelley still trying to hold on. It looks like Alexander Light, they're up top, also in the 97, trying to hang on to his truck. But we're going to see his teammate back there in the 35, Gregor Shaw, working that top group, trying to work his way around there, around Jason Tamer, as they work out of the turn 2 there down the back straightaway. Great runner there as they head off from the field.
Jason Tamer, one of our drivers that had one of the biggest bump ups besides that of Thomas Green. Well, 5 positions from his last points day after last week's race at that of Dover. Now 14th in points. That's inside of our top 16. And for that of Jason Tamer, that's exactly where he wants to be. Might want to gain a couple of more points from this 81 back in 15th place on track. He's hoping he could potentially get a top 10 finish, but he's got a lot of drivers to get by before he gets there. And Zach, we're 4 laps in, but we've seen this at other mile-and-a-half tracks where tire wear was always a question mark on how these drivers want to run. What are you expecting here for these early portions before we start to see that drop off?
Yeah, I'm expecting a good portion of these guys to start struggling, especially with the right front tire. 90 degrees right here on the racetrack. It's cooling off out here. These cloud coverages coming out. This track usually tends to tighten up, gains a lot of front grip, or really a lot of rear grip as the cool temperatures come out, and it really seems to burn that right front tire off. So we'll see who can keep the turn in their truck as it goes on, because the more that right front tire pumps up and builds air pressure and gets the heat build up, the less that truck is going to want to turn to that left-hand side of the racetrack, and that is so key here for these ovals as we ride on board Tamer as now we jump off the 98.
Hopping on board with Isaac Shelley, first car in the top 5, and Shelley's starting to see our front four pull away here just slightly, but it's behind the 98 where we're seeing some side-by-side action going on. And as I say that, though, Cody Reed thinking about making some moves, but I got to say, for Ollie Fonseca, as well as that of Anthony Gaudio, going to be side-by-side with one another. Kind of a change-up for Fonseca. Not going with the bright 24, instead going with a little bit of a darker theme than usual, but Gaudio still having his colorful number 3 action. As we take a look here at the side-by-side action for 6th place, it's Ollie Fonseca trying to make that inner lane work.
Yeah, Fonseca, they're going to get it done. Let's finally and clear that 3 and slide up in front of him off the exit of turn 2. We'll see if Gaudio decides to make something happen here, but stays in line and makes a best decision here to stay back, try to save his stuff as that 24, like you said, in a different looking ride than we usually see out there with the bright colors out there with the darker scheme tonight. But I tell you what, he's moving forward here quickly up to that 6th position.
And other drivers that are going to be side-by-side, almost 3 wide. This is going to be Alexander Light, and that of Morris Bogan, as well as GT Irizarry going to be on top of one another. And for GT Irizarry, thinking about putting that machine on the inside, thought otherwise. The Baby Blue 14 had such a great run last week, came up shy, second place at Dover. So many opportunities to go for a win. Thought he was going to get it done. Well, right now running 12th here at Charlotte in the early portions. Zach, GT Irizarry, another one of those drivers that's still looking for potential win. But last week certainly was a good turnaround for the 14.
Oh, no doubt. That was a huge momentum builder, I think. And I think GT will get a little bit more comfortable here in this truck series the more and more he runs in those positions. I know Dover is a very good racetrack for him, but I tell you what, the more he does this stuff like this, makes passes throughout this field and comes through, it's going to be a lot easier for that 14 to be able to do this week in and week out, because he usually does have really good race pace. It's his qualifying performances that put him back here that he has a tough time working his way through the field and staying out of trouble.
Trying to get by that Morris Bogan, and Bogan's who's been very much struggling for most of his starts that he's shown up for is 36, hoping to get a better run for himself. Hasn't moved any positions. But the driver that's gone backwards, he's Alexander Light, gone down 6 positions. But the driver that's on the move, going to be just in front of this group, that's Gregory Shaw in the 35, currently in 9th place, trying to make the pass here on Eric Kralik. And I got to say here, Zach, this fits right in the wheelhouse of Gregory Shaw, especially with the aggressiveness here early on.
Yeah, showing a lot of pace here too early on. I'm going to be worried about those tires a little bit here. 11 laps in here, fighting this hard, especially driving in that deep, trying to get to people's quarter panels. That's kind of how I noticed he's been making passes. He's been driving in on the outside deeper than most guys would, and that right there is going to lead to a little bit of tire wear in my opinion, driving it like that constantly each and every lap. But right there, wasn't able to get it done, got up a little bit too high and actually had to stay behind Kralik there. So he's going to look to the outside, get down here and warm, but possibly to stay behind and look do something down here to the inside. But definitely showing a lot of aggression right here from Shaw. But I tell you what, done a great job to get the track position that you vitally need here in this truck series.
Well, I'm curious, because of the fact that Aaron's in the 0-1 and Kralik's being pressured so much by Gregory Shaw in the 35, it seems like the 0-1 might be feeling like, all right, I got to get moving. I got to get by here of Gaudio. Otherwise, I'm going to get ran over if I don't get moving.
Yeah, there is times like that as a driver where you'll have a driver run up on you and you'll be kind of, just kind of lingering around, just trying to save your tires, not use up any of your stuff. And a driver behind you will catch up to you quickly, and you'll say, I don't really want to give up that track position. Maybe I'm going to have to push a little harder and put a couple cars in between me and this driver who's going to push me a little too hard there. But great job by Kralik there to get the pass done on Gaudio, as he's going to try to pull away. Behind this group, though, is still Gregory Shaw, but GT Irizarry was able to get past that group he was in, and now he's moving up here.
Fastest truck on track. That last time by was GT Irizarry. This time, though, coming across the line, we'll take another look at where the driver is live. But GT running very similar lap times to our leader and flying through this field. But the driver that's just in front of these guys, the 7 of Paul Bergoli, qualified 3rd. Right now, the 7 is running extremely slow, and it's about to be ran down by Gregory Shaw and also Gaudio in this group that we're watching right now.
Yeah, on board here with this GT, you can see up ahead, that is Bergoli up there ahead of his teammate of the 3 of Gaudio there. So we're seeing GT really be on the move, but Bergoli is the one that is going backwards, like you said. And man, started in that 3rd position, had the best qualifying run of this season so far. And right now, unfortunately, the race is dropping back in that 7, but still in a good spot here if he can just hang on to something here to lap 70 for that first stage.
GT getting to the inside quarter panel and now going to be trying to make the move as well, as up ahead going to be seeing Ollie Fonseca and as well Eric Kralik going to be side by side. Different battles throughout this field that we're seeing up front. This is all the battling for the drivers inside of our top 10. But I got to say, for our front 2 though, they are gone. Trent Jump as well as Thomas Green, they have pulled away and gapped themselves from the rest of this field. And honestly, that side-by-side battling that we've been seeing for Ollie Fonseca, Kralik, and others further back, I think it's a little bit of a sign that they've, for our front 2, they just want to take off and go. The tire wear is certainly going to be something to watch out for. Zach, when are we thinking about tire wear, maybe seeing the drop-off, or do you feel like we've already hit that point?
I think that drop-off is going to come a little bit later than what we would normally see here, just due to the factors of this weather. This mostly cloudy track, this track has got a lot of grip in it right now with this 95-degree Fahrenheit track temperature. I mean, that's that sounds very warm, but that is on the cooler side of track temps when we speak about daytime racing, especially at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. So Yeah, as you see, we put those up there on the screen. 83 degrees for ambient temperature out there on the air, but 95 out there on the racing surface. And that has been picking up, and that is due to really just these drivers out here driving on the track, putting the heat in there with the trucks, with the tires, and just the engines overall carrying the heat down to the track. So it's definitely going to be a changing track, but I really think those tires are going to last a while just due to how much cooler it is. It just seems like the more cool the track is, the less fall off we'll have, and that plateau kind of happens a little bit later.
Well, now seeing teammates working with one another, Ethan Smith as well as John Forbes, as they see Bergoli up into the outside wall, just letting it drift a little bit too high. Now he's going to have a cluster of drivers to really worry about. This 7 was already off the pace after wearing down the tires. Now he's going to have that of seeing the 81 of Tamer as well as Alexander Light and that of Ryan Ferraro and others about to put on the charge on the 7. But I was about to say, we're looking at the 00 and the 11 in the further pack ahead as we hop on board and get a sense of what this field is running. But I gotta say, for the 71 of Paul, that of Carl Pooler, picking and choosing where he wants to go. Very aggressive here on the inside, getting by Light as well, trying to set up how he's gonna get by that of Paul Bergoli. And Zach, I mean, last week's winner, Ethan Smith, a great run for himself at the concrete at Dover, kind of showing how his strength there. John Forbes' teammate, the 11, gonna be another driver that's been on fire this season with his 4 wins. For number 5 potentially here, but he's got a lot of work if he wants to get up front as we're watching this second pack of the field back here battling for that of 14th, 15th, and 16th.
Yeah, there's some great battles going on, but also up there around that 10th and 11th position, we got those 2 teammates that you were speaking of, John Ford and Ethan Smith battling as they both now gotten by Greg Shaw up ahead of this pack here. So, oh, wow, they're starting to get a little dicey back here with this action as they head off into one. As you're going to see that side-by-side Ferraro right there on the bottom of that 12, trying to make some moves, but you can't. Trying to hold on that bottom. It's so tough, especially as this run continues on. That outside will get tougher and tougher to make passes on the bottom compared to the outside line.
And also going to be seeing some other drivers, such as that Dylan Walterman, going to be in the very colorful 1, who's going to be the second car on the back tail of this group that we see in our shot. Paul Bergoli in the 7. Got to be careful. He's being heavily pressured on the outside, and that's going to be Alexander Light doing his best to not just shove the 7 out of the way, but it's so difficult when these drivers further back potentially been just trying to save their tires for this long run, and now they've got the 7 that's kind of just being an on-track chicane that's difficult for everyone that they're trying to get by. Now going to be making the move forward is going to be that of Trevue, but Bergoli, he's got to be worrisome of how slow and off the pace he is, because now he's going to have Ferraro, Walterman, Martin, Morales, as well as that of Dakota Moniz, all on top of this 7.
Yeah, this is kind of mind-blowing. You know, Bergoli qualifying to that 3rd spot, did not expect him to be dropping back like this, and this is a tough sight to see there as he's continuing to really, like you said, be the roadblock in this line here, and it's gotten pretty interesting. But up ahead of him here, Morris G. Bogan, he had a major mistake, and that slid him from all the way in that 11th position. He's now back here right ahead of this group. 36, now going to be on the inside, so putting 2 off-pace drivers, going to be on the inside and on the outside. This could get tricky for some of these drivers back in this top 20, all trying to stay inside of the top 20. As we move up just a little bit further, a driver that's on the move, Logan Brakey, as well as Jason Tamer. They've attached with one another, and they've been just slowly marching their way forward as Gregory Shaw, our biggest mover in those first handful of laps, now has fallen back to 13th when he was inside of the top 10. And Logan Brakey, one of our drivers from that of the Armadillo Motorsports team, got to say, for Logan Brakey, I kind of came in with the idea this 29 could be a dark horse to watch out for, and as well, could be one of the toughest drivers to watch out, trying to get by in the later stages of this run if there's drivers trying to pressure, as Gregory Shaw in this 35 that you see on screen falling backwards. But back up front, Cody Reed, he's going in the wrong direction as well. Here's the 25 who was up inside at one moment, was in 3rd place, now just trying to stay inside of the top 10. Yeah, looks to be struggling right now, dropping back as Gaudio has been able to get by him along with Ethan Smith here trying to follow through along with John Forbes in the 11. So the 3 teammates there, unfortunately for Reed, his 2 teammates are going to go by him here and look to be not as much struggling as that 25 is. There's a few guys really starting to struggle and really a few guys starting to shine. One of those I got to bring up, GT Azari. He's up to the top 5 now as he's gotten past Fonseca.
Yeah, GT's been moving up. Also, Aaron Kralich's done a great job. He's now up to 3rd, and ever since he actually was pressured by Gregory Shaw just that of 15 laps ago, he went on the move of aggression and he's now up to third, making some bold runs. And I'm looking at the lap times right now. Aaron Kralik, GT Irizarry, those are your two fastest trucks on track. They're even faster than our front two, but the big difference, our leaders have over that of almost a 3-second gap over our third place runner.
Yeah, and that's something we normally don't see. You know, that was when you brought it up earlier about the gap they were building. I was kind of surprised already to see how big a gap they built, and right now it's upwards of 3 seconds here. And wow, that's impressive to see from the top two there, Trent Jump and Thomas Green, who have been able to really just drive away from this field. As we look back here to the 19 of Tyler Dingler.
Tyler Dingler actually going to be one of the drivers that's running also pretty quick to what our leaders were running there for a quick second. Had a little bit of issues, but is now starting to close in on the tail end of this group. I think for Tyler Dingler, started all the way back in last place for tonight's race. He's going to try to move as many positions up as possible. Also, Christopher Norris, who had a very strong run at Dover last week, not the strongest qualifying run for himself, qualified 25th, and he'll be back here in 24th. But Paul Bergoli back in 25th position after qualifying third. He's our biggest loser so far here tonight. And it's good to see Cody Dorsey back out on track. Missed last week, but he's back here. He's back in 26th position. But just like what we've seen these last couple of weeks, hey, it's all about survival than it is to have the best runs here in the first stage of this race. Stage break going to be at the end of lap 80. And Zach, that's going to be another thing to touch on. We got a very long stage break for these drivers. I'm curious on when we're going to be seeing these drivers think about making their first pit stop, as here is Isaac Shelley in our 5th place position.
Yeah, with that stage being at that lap there at lap 70, it's not going to be doable under one tank of fuel. So yeah, they're going to have to be considering, when do they want to come to pit road? When do we decide to finally make that decision to come down and get a new set of tires and fill up these trucks? You see now, Irizarry, he's also got my Shelley, and he's up to Kralik as we look back to Bogan here in his 36. The thought of pitting has got to be looming on these guys' minds. It's got to be there because, this is right about to be halfway. It's actually, we got a battle for the lead, I think, about to start happening too, guys.
It's boiling over, and just like this, it's side by side. Thomas Green, who's been just waiting and looming, almost making contact on the exit of the corner. Loose was the 15 of Thomas Green. That's going to be giving him just a little bit of a spacing for Trenton Jump, but Jump stuck the high side, and we talked about it. That outer lane, it's going to be tougher and tougher, but it's the defensive line if you want to hold your position. And Green, once again, loose out of the corner. And Zach, the longer they stay side by side, the more I'm concerned about Thomas Green. Again, these drivers do not have a fast repair. Any type of damage you got to deal with, but this is giving flashbacks of that of Las Vegas just a few weeks ago.
Yeah, it definitely is. And these two definitely not the most fond of each other for sure. We know that for fact. And Thomas Green right now trying his best to try to get by. He's using every trick in the book there, a little side draft before he enters the corner. But like we said, that outer groove, it's so tough to get it done. But look at this, Trenton Jump gets tight, and there he goes. The 15-2 to lead. Great move by Thomas Green. We'll see. Can he try to build a little bit of a gap here before we head to pit road, or can Trenton Jump latch on to this draft here like we've seen with these trucks and be able to hang on here before we get those pit stops underway?
Thomas Green rubbing right on that blue line, that showing the difference of the race surface to the apron and really maximizing as much grip as possible. But there he goes, throwing it down low. Trenton Jump, he's got to try a little bit of a higher groove, just trying to get any type of clean air on that front bumper to try to get a better run out of the full corner number 4. Not able to do it just there, but certainly Trenton Jump's trying to keep it close. But as the laps tick away, the closer we get to talking about when we're going to have those green flag pit stops for fuel, and drivers are starting to talk over the radio, thinking about when they're going to come in. Hey, if we don't know, well, there's a way for the drivers to know, and that's to get yourself an iRacing iFlag. iRacing iFlag is the best way to go if you're trying to get yourself some information. Oh no, we'll talk about him later. It's Bogan wrecking on the backstretch.
Yeah, there we go. Caution out on the racetrack right here about halfway into the stage. And yeah, that was unfortunate to see. Bogan having a good run. We'll have to see exactly how that all played out, but it looks like possibly some contact between him and the 81 of Jason Taylor.
Let's wait for the replay exactly what happened, but that is not the way that you want to see these drivers. Talked about Bogan having struggles for himself, and here's Jason Tamer. Bogan trying to dive it down low, just no grip, slides up and expecting a little bit of space. There wasn't any there, and just comes right up into the 81.
Yeah, and looking at that a little bit there myself, even it kind of looks like possibly, I'm guessing he thought the 81 was going to go up a little higher, which you would expect on the exit corner, but it looks like the 81 was possibly thinking about making a move to the inside of Reed up ahead of him and getting his nose there. And when Bogan went to go up the racetrack, the 81 was on his door, and that just from there transpired into that incident. So just a racing incident, if I'd have to say anything.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's the one thing that kind of was talked about at Las Vegas was, awareness levels for these drivers. Certainly wasn't there for a quick moment. I think, again, drivers just expecting to have a little bit more spacing. Wasn't there. And the 36, now going to have to deal with that damage. And Trent Jump now going to be out and about getting himself some repairs as well as fuel and tires. But Christopher Norris, this 54, going with a little strategy here. Zach, for Norris, wanting those bonus points as fast as possible.
Yeah, he's trying to get that lap led there. That's an interesting strategy. I hope he comes down pit road maybe here, but if he elects to do this, if he stays out here, he's gonna have to pit under green. So I don't imagine he'll do that, but man, maybe trying some different type of strategy here. We'll have to see what this 54 has up his sleeve, but the rest of the field has said, yeah, we're good. That's halfway. That's about where we wanted to pit anyways. We'll come get the tires and fuel now.
Yeah, and for these drivers, a decent place to find themselves just sitting, and so we'll see how well they want to get themselves reset. But as I was talking about, hey, since we got time here under our first yellow, hey, we can talk more about iRacing, iFlag. Again, one of the best ways if you want to get yourself information with getting on their digital pit boards can give you information such as track temp, weather conditions, also how much fuel consumption you've been having for the last 5-lap average, or just how many laps you have left. And it also can give you visual cues of your virtual spotter of where drivers are at on your left or on your right. And if for iRacing iFlag, they are the provider of sim racers with the best iFlag visual flag system to let you know what's going on track as well as in your vehicle that you're in. iRacing iFlag, if you want to get yourself your visual flag system, go to iRacingIFlag.com and use our promo code FreakyFast2022 to get yourself a discount with getting your iRacing iFlag. Hey, if it doesn't say iRacing iFlag on it, it's not from them, and you're getting yourself bogus, not the raw deal. You want to get the actual stuff. So again, go order from iRacing iFlag. Drivers are stacked up. We're getting ready to go. Here's Zach. What are you expecting now? We got a little bit of a taste on how fresh tires are going to work. What are you expecting here on this restart?
Well, the biggest thing I'm interested to see is how Norris is going to play all this out here in this 54 machine. See what he can do here on the older tires, and what will Thomas Green do? He saw that he was faster than Trenton Jump on the long run there. Will he try to save some stuff here to get to the end, or will he go full bore here and try to get to the lead and control this race?
How is this restart gonna go? A driver that has not come into pit stops to get tires. The rest of the field went with 4 tires and fuel. Pace truck is off. It's now to see what chaos we're gonna get. The Armadillo is digging for 225, presented by Color Teal Graphics is green, and it's gonna be that of Christopher Norris on the outside. A little bit of wheel spin further back. This is when things are gonna get a little bit crazy into this corner. Who's gonna carry more of their tires and speed through the corners?
Already up top is Chris Norris up to the very top of the wall there. You're going to see he's that truck right against the wall here as we exit. That is stuck up there. Is everybody on new tires. He's almost already back to the 10th position.
He's falling back. He's trying to get out of the way, and it's going to be seen himself continue to falter as the rest of the field luckily able to get out of the way quickly for themselves. But as the field climbs their way through, it's Thomas Green, Trent Jump going to be the front runners. As Christopher Norris, keep our eye because he is going to be the danger spot until he is completely out of the way of all these drivers.
Yeah, this is definitely the danger zone for him here as he's dropping back into the clutches of this field even more. And yeah, luckily everybody was able to do a good job to get by him there, but he almost touches the wall there on entry now as Bowen goes by now Tyler Dingler, and now it's going to be Brad Goley who's going to possibly stuck behind him here on the outside line. And that's what you don't want to see there. But Cody Dorsey in the 9, look at him go.
He is really trying to make his way any way that he can get himself forward, and 3 wide, watch out! Little bit of contact as gets squeezed on the entry of the corner, and that is not where you want to be finding yourselves. But luckily, trying to make even more bumps, but Dylan Walterman now going to be stuffed for a quick second. He's got to be careful because here comes Tribune now on the back bumper. We're just a few drivers away, and we're finally going to find that 54 clear from the rest of the field. You know, that one bonus point, how well really was it worth? But up front, going to be seeing that of John Forbes trying to crack into the top 5 with Isaac Shelley, as well as GT Rosari. And these two of Isaac Shelley and that of John Forbes, they've had a couple of tussles earlier in the season, but it's been John Forbes taking the equalizer for most of the season for himself.
Yeah, John Forbes, we've seen what he's done all season. It's been such a quiet, even dominant season. That's what's so interesting about it. I mean, the guy goes out there, qualifies 14th, 15th each and every week, slowly works his way up. He has a big counter steer there as he's exiting off of 4 there, and Shelley's going to get back to the inside here as this battle continues. But, man, I'm telling you, he's just had a very interesting season where he slowly works his way up from these mid-starting pack positions and is there when the money time comes down to at the end of these races. That 11 truck is there if he's going to be in that contention for the win.
He's on it. He's making all the moves that he needs, and a lot of late blocking you saw there. That was going to be seeing Gaudio trying to make a late block for himself further back from this battle. That we see is all right on the quarter panel. Going to be John Forbes trying to make a pass for himself. And certainly the drivers here for the 5th position have been battling strong. Here's Logan Brakey also trying to make some moves. But we got to move up to our leaders because we got a 3-horse battle that we're going to be seeing up front. Thomas Green, Trenton Jump, and Eric Kralik now going to be in the mix here as we go down the back stretch. Last time by on the back stretch, it was that of Thomas Green doing a late block on the 46. This go around, they're going to be right on top of one another, but now they got a friend here. Kralik, he knows it's go time. He knows he's got the speed for the later on late run.
Yeah, Kralik is looking good on that late run there as he sees these two battling up front. He knows these are the two he had to chase down. And these two, man, I tell you, aggression out of this world. I mean, definitely that 15, I mean, blocking the 46 all the way from the wall, all the way down to the blue line to the entry at 3 there. 2 laps ago, like you brought up, Sam. I tell you what, that's the type of aggression that leads to possibly incidents that Thomas Green is not got that top 5 yet. That's where I question those moves done by him. You know, you think you just want to get a nice solid finish in there and get these solid points here and make sure you carry on to this playoffs and get that momentum rolling. But, you know, some drivers, they go full bore every single lap.
Every single time you're out there, every lap you try to scrap for every inch possible, and that's what we're seeing from our front two. But at the same time, I mean, you got to tip your cap to the fact that these drivers have been this close and battling this strong on top of one another. And there's only been a few times throughout the season where they've truly made contact. That of Trenton Jump and Thomas Green. They've just given us heart attacks throughout the whole entire season.
Yeah, a lot of close calls, and for sure, there's one thing, like you said, you get those close calls, and it's very typical to give them the credit that they can do this hard racing like this side-by-side close action and not hit each other most of the time. But when you have those close calls over and over again, those close calls lead to big moments, and those big moments can lead to big incidents. And right now, we're seeing some great racing up front, but I tell you what, at any moment here, even on lap 46, these two could be parked in the fence.
Oh, well, it's going to be Trent Jump with the nose as the yellow flag flies, and it's going to be Carl Pooler in the 71. Going to be slow through 3 and 4. And drivers saw the side-by-side dice in between our leaders. Well, further back, some other drivers were trying to go side-by-side. And a driver that did not want to get involved, it looks, we'll see on this replay, a couple of drivers, but the hard contact going to be between that of the 71 of that of Carl Pooler and as well the one of Dylan Walterman. And a little bit, I think, of miscommunication on how they wanted to enter that corner, I would say there's Zach, but it's Trabue into the outside wall and then also double contact with Pooler coming up.
Yeah, that's unfortunate there, man. To see Pooler spinning down the racetrack is, it looked like two drivers going for the same spot. It seemed like the one was trying to wash out a little bit wider there to get that entry into 3, while the 71 was trying to hold him down a little bit farther off that wall to not give him that nice turn in there, and just leads to unfortunate contact that's going to take both of them for a loop, especially Carl Pooler there, and then Gary Trabue going to catch a little bit of it too. So unfortunate for that group of guys, but doesn't seem like the most damage from what I'm looking at. It looks like these guys should be able to get fixed up pretty well.
But Zach, the one driver I want to throw out, we got to see ourselves with about 8-9 laps of green flag racing there. Christopher Norris, again, never pit. He's now going to take his first set of tires. What advantage is this 54 now going to have as we're about to go into this restart? And a lot of drivers hitting pit road, going to be led by that of Tamer, Dangler, as well as Trebupuler and Walterman all coming in as well.
Well, I'll tell you, it's going to be a considerable difference. I mean, this cool down phase here under these caution laps here will help bring a little bit of life back to these tires here and really help the lap time come back to these drivers as the tips drop down. But I will say this much. Looking at lap times wise, Trenton Jump, our leader of that run right there, his fastest time was a 30.68. The last lap before we had a caution was a 31.36. So already right there, you're seeing 0.7 of a second drop off in about 8 laps. So we could see a considerable difference there. Christopher Norris could have played this just right. He could be in a very well good position for some great stage points here if this could go green to the end for him. The biggest thing, though, is just putting yourself back there in the mayhem. He's going to be all the way back here tailing the longest line, and that 54 is going to be having to work his way up from that 24th position, really.
But for Christopher Norris, he needs to make these risky calls for the 54. Comes in tied 18th in points with Tyler Dangler, and also missed a race this season. So Norris gets his bonus point, which is so necessary for himself, and now gonna be trying to maximize with stage bonus points. Again, the stage break gonna be at the end of lap 80 for these drivers. They're all trying to get to that of North Star Designs stage break, where the drivers will get set and ready to go. Well, the pace car lights are off. We're stacking up. We're getting ourselves ready here. Going to be up front. Our top drivers going to be finding that of Trenton Jump, that of Thomas Green Jump, just getting a nose ahead before that yellow flag flied with Aaron Krelick, GT Rizari, Isaac Shelley, John Forbes, that of Gregory Shaw, Ollie Fonseca, Logan Brakey, and that of Anthony Gaudio going to be your top 10 ready to get racing here tonight. Trenton Jump as well as Thomas Green, they gave us a couple of scares here in our first stage, but we're going to be starting lap 50 for these drivers. Going to be putting us with 31 laps to go for this stage is done. Zach, it's going to be a dicey one here. I'm curious, though, on how that second row, Eric Kralick, GT Rizari, how well they're going to be able to attack on this restart.
Yeah, it is going to be interesting to see how those guys from the second row on back will be able to attack this here and see what they have for our front two. Is like we said, they've had some close moments. We're about to get similar here as we take this green flag.
Thank you for joining us here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. My name is Sam Dyer. Zach Hall with me up in the booth, as well as Rob Moyer running all the productions. It is the NAISCC Race Car Graveyard Truck Series, race number 11, and we're off once again here for the Amadellas, digging for 225, and a lot of issues. That of Thomas Green did not get rolling. He lost a lot of ground. It's still struggling going into turn number 1.
Oh, look at that. Forbes getting to the inside in the 11 there with that big mistake, and a lot of wheel spin from that 15 there, and that really checked up the outside line. GTers are in the 14. Oh, man, he drops back, and there goes the 24 Fonseca up by him. Definitely a huge check up there for that group, and even looking at a few of these trucks, a few guys with right side damage up here on these race trucks. Looks like the 15 might have gotten the wall.
I got in the wall just a little bit there, and now going to be struggling. He's now going to have John Forbes right on his back bumper. Here's going to be Gaudio, going to be having himself with a full tech lid, and now seeing side by side, going to be our winner from last week at Dover, Ethan Smith, trying to make the pass, as well as a driver just cracking the top 5. Gregory Shaw getting aggressive now with another restart. The 35 is alive once again, and going to be side by side with that of Thomas Green, our pole sitter. But as we're watching these drivers racing as hard as they are, the driver that I was curious about, 54, Christopher Norris, he has not done as much as I thought he was going to do. Only up to 21st position. I think that's just because he had to work his way through drivers that were damaged, as well as some other shenanigans that were going on back here.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how aggressive he is as we hop on board with him here now, going to the inside there. That 9 machine Cody Dorsey's going to have Brad Goldie and the 97 of his teammate Alexander Light here, these next 2 trucks. And he was pretty aggressive there getting to the inside. This time, what lane does he choose here to go through? Looks like he'll choose the bottom and try to follow Brad Goldie through. But look at this, they're going to be side by side ahead. And this is where it gets tough right here, everybody. When you get side by side traffic in front of you, have brand new tires, it's either be patient or make a big move here. And let's see what this 54 can do. He gets to the outside of this 7 here, trying to get something done.
And as we're watching on board, you can see the wheel action. It is certainly just shuffling on the entry, on the exit of the corner, as well, trying to find that center point, that balance of where you want to place yourself and the decisions. Bergoli, a little bit of a pinch coming up, and it's just forcing the 54. He has to pick, and now he's going to dive down low and hope that they can try to make a pass. But Bergoli, a driver that we noted on, had major issues with having a long run setup with these tires on, and the way that he's been so aggressive. This is now allowing that of Tamer and others They're now coming with the late charge here on the back bumper of the 54.
Yeah, everybody here is stacking up, and look, there's the 7 finally gets clear. This is going to allow the 54 a little bit of breathing room here, possibly on the bottom, as now the 97, a little bit of wiggle down the back straight. Thought about making a move there, but it's going to the 54's teammate down inside here as they head into 3, and he's going to get that pass done here. He should have the grip now to get underneath that 7 here off the corner 4, and yes, he does, as they head past the start-finish line side by side behind him, too. Tamer there trying to get something done to follow that 54 through on new tires.
Up front, majority of the field has been single file. We just love always coming back here, the back half of the field, because it's always a blast to see who's side by side and who's trying to go for every position possible and trying to correct the top 20. But up front, top 2, top 3, it's going to be Trenton Jump, Aaron Kralik, and Isaac Shelley going to be your front 3. But it's from here, it's why we find Gregory Shaw in 4th, but also Thomas Green, John Forbes, Oli Fonseca, GT Rosario, Logan Brakey, and Gaudio all in line. And John Forbes is the one who wants to get rolling to the inside of the 15.
Yeah, and I think that damage on the 15 has hurt his truck. He does not seem to have as much pace available to him no more. And it's 11's trying to take advantage of it here, as we've seen them have a pretty interesting battle there at Bristol. And we'll see how this continues here down to 3, as the 11's going to make the big move to the inside. Now the 15 going to look to the inside here, possibly in the tribal, but the 11 going to cover him off there. Actually going to get a little bit into the grass. Now the 15 to the inside. This is hard racing back here for position.
Crossover move is going to be thrown up and down, and it's Thomas Green going to be on the inside of John Forbes. And Forbes got to hope that he can get off the corner as clean as possible. And Thomas Green continues to just be aggressive, trying to give as many pinches and trying to force the issue on every driver. The issue with these drivers, though, Zach, is that when you're making these aggressive moves like Thomas Green, he's trusting that every driver he's around when he makes these big moves and just getting side by side with someone else, that other driver isn't going to assume what he's doing and accidentally wreck one another. And that's just a giant trust. And those trusting issues is kind of what's been costing Green for the majority of this season.
Yeah, no, you can never have too much trust in your competition, I believe. You always got to think what could happen. And, if you're always thinking they're going to be picture perfect and hold a perfect line, that is not going to happen. I mean, nobody does that on a racetrack. The best drivers do not hold a perfect line at all points during a race. It is going to be some points where some driver makes some type of mistake, so you got to give a little bit of wiggle room, especially these early portions of the race. We're in the stage 1 still. If you want to have a good finish left in this race and don't want to be knocked out of it, you need to be making good decisions and not putting yourself in those spots where it's kind of go or go home. If a driver makes a mistake, then your night is over.
And now watching some of the drivers battling back here for that of 12th, 13th, and 14th, as the 3 of Gaudio going to be on the outside. Ryan Ferraro is going to be on the inside. That of Dakota Moniz in the 5 going to be just waiting and looming. And then behind them, our Atlanta winner at based off a fuel strategy, Eric Stamp in 15th. Stamp, one of our bigger movers, also moving up of the drivers further back in this group. Biggest movers overall for the field, Gregory Shaw going to be up 13 positions in 5th. John Forbes up 10 positions up in 4th. Well, this group back here, this is where the slicing and dicing and some drivers getting a little bit too over aggressive could find themselves getting in a mess if they're not careful. And also, now sticking his nose in the mix, there's Christopher Norris.
Yeah, Christopher Norris there. He's come to join the party up here on those brand new tires as Moniz makes the great pass on Gaudio, who seems to be dropping back here to that 14th position. Now look at this, the 54 trying to get to the inside, but the 3 covers him off, and that could have been disastrous there. As you're going to see now, the 54 trying once again to run that inside line, but that is tough to do there. You can see that 3 covered him off, and that's the difference too. You have a driver coming from behind you there. You don't expect them to have that much of a difference of speed, but when they have new tires, it is a whole lot of difference. And you can see here the 3 starting to struggle a little bit. Is now Stamp even trying to get by him.
I mean, I got to say, Christopher Norris was on my radar a most improved driver from watching the way that last season, at the start of the season to the end. And I got to give even more credit to Christopher Norris right now, the patience of this 54. There have been plenty of times that he could have just shoved someone out of the way or ruined his race by being just too aggressive. He's been just patient enough with these fresh tires to try to slowly march his way forward. As Gaudio gets too antsy and now has to back out of it, almost getting to that outside wall for the 3. But now going to be losing a spot just in a blink of an eye. And now to the next driver for Christopher Norris. He's now cracked the top 15.
As they're going to have coming to the bye next time. There'll be 7 to go. Almost close there. Contact the Stamp as he has to back out of it there. And like you said, showing a lot of patience, but definitely having a little bit of a scary moment there. Is look at Moniz trying to get his way past the 25 of Reed and follow his way through into that 12th position, along with Ferraro up ahead of him in that 11th spot. I mean, great runs for the 5 and the 12.
And these are drivers are going to need some big points. Again, only the top 10 get those bonus points at our stage break at the end of lap 80. So they've got to be making some big moves, catch up to Logan Brakey if possible, and make that pass. And that's where Christopher Norris is trying to be as patient as possible, not to overuse these tires and slowly march his way forward. Cody Reed, though, still a huge surprise in my eyes. This 25 qualified up in the top 5 and now faltering back, as here's a pass going to be made with that of John Forbes and Isaac Shelley for 3rd place. But another group of drivers that have been on top of one another, been watching that of Gregory Shaw in 7th currently. He has been going backwards. He's been trying to be aggressive to hold off every position possible. But this 35, I think, was just too overzealous once again on fresh tires, and they're falling off while the rest of the field can still keep up to their pace.
Yeah, Greg has got it figured out when it comes to these short runs, man. I tell you what, if we get a short run to the end of this race, that 35 will be a problem if he is anywhere near that top 5. I mean, he has such incredible pace, but, you know, is that due to the fact that he is just pushing, you know, all out here, and while the rest of this group here is just trying to save a little bit of something here for later in this run. And, you know, it's always a tough call from the driver's seat. You want to go as fast as you possibly can, but if you do that, a lot of times you're usually making some type of mistake by sliding those tires a little bit over the grip level. As you can see there, the 35 continuing to get tight out the exit of corners. That's allowing everybody here to jump to the inside and make these moves.
And it's going to be seeing that GT Rizzari, and also with the fact that Eric Stamp, that of Logan Brakey did not move up. This is now going to put Ryan Ferraro in a prime position, trying to get by that 29. Now Logan Brakey thinks to be getting to the outside and just everyone picking and choosing where they want to place themselves here as the laps continue to tick away. We are now 14 laps away from this stage being done, and our battle around 10th place starting to heat up. But up front, Trenton Jump, Aaron Kralik, John Forbes, they're just pulling away with ease. This is kind of just looking like a cakewalk for our top 3.
Yeah, definitely looking pretty easy from those 3 up front. They're just cruising here to the end of this stage. But, man, that battle is definitely heating up there. Moniz back in 12th. You also got Norris back in 13th. Ferraro there fighting with the 29 of Brakey to try to break into that top 10 here and get these bonus points. You also got Irizarry. He had a mistake up there from the 14. It's stacking this whole group up here, and Norris on the new tires. You know, if I'm Norris, I see him making a lot of moves to the inside. If I got those new tires, I'd be going to the top, trying to get to people's outside. But it looks like his way around is that bottom.
I mean, it's the slow, methodical way to go, and I think that might be his thoughts of it's safer. If I just wait for someone to give me an opening, I'll take it. But this group really got jammed up. The main reason a lap ago, Ollie Fonseca got tapped by that of Ethan Smith, bumped up to 24, and then he coming off of turn 4 really slowed down everyone, which is giving an opportunity for that of GT Rizzari, Shaw, Brian Ferraro, as well as everyone else to get back into the mix of things here. But I got to say, yes, Christopher Norris is not making as big enough of a splash that I was going to imagine for himself, but still running in 13th place, waiting, and he's stalled out. I mean, it's side-by-side racing, 2 rows deep. He can't really do much here except for will the lane that he's behind for them to start moving forward.
We have 1 lap to go here in the stage, so we'll see who can get back here in the top 10 as Ferraro makes the pass on Shaw to put himself up to 9th there. Cam Moniz, though, get here and make the move to try to get into that 10th position. He's got Norris behind him also. It's all of these drivers going for points.
Trying to grab all the points that they can, and here they come down the back stretch. Going to be throwing it down, stealing, and Norris feeling the pressure. He's going to be right on the back bumper of Dakota Moniz. Can he get the run, though? He's got to move up if he wants to try to make that outside lane work, and it's not going to cross the line. Trent Jubb, Forbes, that of Aaron Kralik, Shelley, going to be all taking your top 4. Thomas Green, Ethan Smith, Ollie Fonseca, GT Rizzari, Ryan Forbes, Dakota Moniz, taking your top 10 positions here for our stage break, as that is going to be it. That is your North Star stage break here on lap 71. North Star Designs, great graphics, logos, websites, and more. Hey, you can go find samples at North Star Designs on Instagram, or you can go to TWNORSE on Twitter or that of Twitch. They can get you started as well. Whether you're need to stand out, just remember, look to the stars, North Star Designs. As Trenton Jump and the others race to our pace car, we're going to take a quick commercial break. And when we come back, more racing action here at Charlotte for the Amarillas Digging for 225, presented by Color Teal Graphics.
Drivers, start your engines!
4, 3, 2, 1, green screen. No laser grip whatsoever. Up sideways. Sideways everywhere. Come on, man. Do what you can. The vibration in this car is the worst vibration that I've ever had, and the shifter's broken again.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Freaky Fast Broadcasting. My name is Sam Dyer. With me is Zach Hall. Robert Morey running the productions in the background. It's time to get back to racing action. No more stage breaks. It's time to finish out our 150 laps here at Charlotte for the Amarillas digging in 225. Presented by Color Teal Graphics. It's your NAISCC Race Car Graveyard Truck Series down into turn number 1. A little bit of shimmying once again. And Zach, these restarts, those wheel spins, it's been dangerous as we're going down on the exit of turn 2.
Yeah, I'm surprised how much wheel spin we've seen tonight. That is something you don't normally see as much, especially on brand new tires like that. So definitely an interesting scenario to see as we're having some hard racing back there. Ethan Smith having a move made on him by Ali Fonseca. But I tell you what, that red truck who's broken up into the top 3, John Forbes, he drove himself up all the way to that second position. He's going to be the one to watch for, I think, in his final run to the end of this race. Look at Shelley going for the lead.
Isaac Shelley getting a little confident here for the 98. Going to be driving it down low, pushing up Trenton Jump close to the outside wall. Was trying to hope to see if he can get him out of shape. And certainly we see it. A couple of drivers getting out of shape for themselves. But the battle for second is on. Trenton, that of John Forbes, going to be getting to the inside. But also watch out. If this battle for second rages anymore, almost contact at turn 4. It's Trenton. That's going to be that of Thomas Green, who wants to be the next driver to challenge that of Trenton Jump.
Yeah, definitely. Thomas Green wants to get right back up into this action, but look at this!
No!
Oh no!
Oh my goodness! Just like that, the battle for second. Talked about these pinches. If you get too close, the contact could be drastic and disastrous, and it certainly was. But Isaac Shelley getting the worst of it, as well as going to be that of John Forbes. Both heavily damaged, but it's Shelley with the required damage, and he's going to have to take a tow.
Yeah, I don't know what the 98 was doing there. I mean, the 11's on the the line down there and on the painted blue line. I mean, you can't go any lower. I mean, he actually hit the apron. He was so low. I don't know. We'll have to see on the replay. That is just very bizarre pinching that aggressively.
This is after the incident. We're going to do a little bit of a rewind here and get a sense, but a beautiful barrel roll to land it at least. But it's, I'll be honest, it's one of those things where the hitbox might have been the issue of what we were going to see from these drivers here, Zach. Yes, there's hard pinching and closing on one another, but I think it just might have been a hitbox, wind, arrow, whatever you want to call it, issue here between these two drivers.
Yeah, definitely an interesting hit there for sure. Definitely the way they reacted, just still though, I just don't. When you see that much room given, you expect bad things like that to happen. I mean, if you're the 98. You can't really be that mad personally that you're in the wall because you kind of did it to yourself.
I mean, if anything, the 98 of Shelley as well as John Forbes, I mean, they've been watching that Trent Jump and Green racing as hard and as close as they were. I think, yeah, a little bit of trying to imitate it, but couldn't duplicate it as they go around. And it's Isaac Shelley getting the worst of that contact. Could be our first official DNF of the night as he had to take a tow into pit road. A few of other drivers decided to come in. That of Cody Reed, that of Jason Tamer, Cody Dorsey, all coming in to top off on fuel. John Forbes, though, as well, going to be in pit road, going to try to get service and repairs done for the 11. But Trenton Jump and Thomas Green, well, they're going to be back to side-by-side racing. And for Thomas Green, I think he'll gladly just take those two positions away with ease.
Yeah, I think Thomas Green, I mean, unfortunately, one of those was his teammate. I think he probably didn't want to see Isaac Shelley there get involved in that. But, he'll take what you can get. I mean, he needs everything, too. I mean, we were talking about it. I mean, hasn't got a top 5 this season, and he's had the pace, no doubt, to get a top 5. I mean, each and every race, it almost seems like at this point for the 15. There's been very few races that he hasn't been a top contender. And I tell you what, though, he's got that little bit of damage on the right side. He's done a good job to kind of get that fixed up, I believe, a little bit in the last pit stop. But I still think that's going to hinder him a little bit from his full strength that we seen him earlier in this race, where he was very, very strong at the end of that first run before we got our first initial yellow of this race. He was looking to be the driver that was taking the lead and trying to drive away with it. But it's gone to Trenton Jump's hand since that point on.
Also, Trenton Jump, he's got to be careful because Aaron Kralik, as well as Ethan Smith, they're going to be in that second row. But the inside row of row 3, you threw it out there, Zach. If these drivers are in a short run pace, if there's a driver close enough to the lead, watch out. And it's going to be that of Gregory Shaw in that 35. I'm wondering how aggressive, how fast are we going to see this 35 try to put down some times? If you look at the best times that everyone has put down all night long, Gregory Shaw comes away as the 3rd fastest driver. Actually, it was going to be Cody Reed. Actually, is the driver that's put down the fastest lap of all the drivers, but has some damage. Not going to be too fast to watch out here. Then it was Trenton Jump, and then Gregory Shaw are our 3 fastest drivers that have put down their fastest laps. We'll see how well they can do on this restart. Is Trenton Jump going to be our leader with Thomas Green, Eric Kralik, Ethan Smith, Gregory Shaw, Ollie Fonseca, Eric Stamp, that of Christopher Norris, as well as Dakota Moniz and Anthony Gaudio, going to be our top 10 drivers getting set. Talked about Thomas Green, still the 15. No top 5s this season so far, 2 top 10s, and looking for his first win potentially here this evening. If he hasn't been finishing up front, he's been wrecking out, but the bonus points are why he's 6th in points. Ridiculous to think with no top 5s still 6th in points coming into tonight. We'll see how well he can get set up, as we're going to be pushing for another lap here on this restart. And Zach, I think that's the biggest thing for these drivers is Green has proven to us you just need to have good stage bonus points or just lead some laps. Those bonus points can carry you into a playoffs even if you don't have the best finishes.
Oh, when you have a stage bonus point system like they do here in the Truck Series, it is a huge factor. I mean, that is 10 possible points up for advantage. I mean, that's 10 positions there. I mean, that is a huge amount. That adds on pretty much, to the size of the field pretty much without doing that. So it's it's an interesting scenario, and it just shows you if you can perform well enough in those stages, lead some laps, and get the bonus points, you don't exactly need to be up there where you were running, if long as you were in good positions in these races. And I think that's kind of what stage racing was brought in to do. Reward guys for running good early in races that maybe don't get to the finish.
And another thing with the point system, the fact that we are seeing these laps and tracks moving away. This is race number 11 of 13 for the regular season before we get into our playoffs. 16 drivers make it into the playoffs. Some drivers that are outside looking in that are kind of surprising drivers for myself at least. Ollie Fonseca, who's going to start 6th on this restart, actually comes in 20th in points. That is at the bubble of if you get a win, you're locked in. If you're in the top 20, you have a win, you're locked into the playoffs. This 24, going to need a lot of points and good finishes here for these final couple of races, or get a win, and you'll find yourself locked into the next round. Pace truck is off, though. We had enough pace laps. It's time to go racing, and Trent Jumpy is already gone. And it's going to be Gregory Shaw with a little bit of mistakes here on this restart with wheel spin. The front four going to be set up and ready to roar down into turn number 1.
Yeah, and you're going to see there the two battling is the 01 and the 00. Ethan Smith and Aaron Kralik there for that third spot as Kralik takes control of that down the back straightaway, though. But Trent Jump, again, another great restart for him. Multiple truck length gap as he heads off the 3.
Going to be our top 8 all single file out for now. Then you go back to 9th place where we find Adam Norris as well as Gaudio going to be side by side. But the question is here on this restart, how aggressive do you want to be? There's no more stage breaks. It's all about racing it to the end at lap 50. How aggressive do these drivers want to start testing for themselves, as here's the battle for that 8th place position. Norris, Gaudio, and it looks like for the 3, he's finally going to be clear, but here comes that of Dakota Moniz going to be pressuring for the 5.
Yeah, Moniz having a great run tonight here in that 5 machine. Was right there in the stage points at the end of that stage, and now going to be challenging to try to move even farther forward. Maybe he'll have a career best night here in the Truck Series for this 5 machine. We'll have to see as he's been able to work his way up to the back bumper of Norris, who doesn't have that tire advantage like he did before, but he gained a lot out of that. If you think about it, he gained so much track position from that strategy. I was questioning it so much staying out there at that point, but he got it right, Sam, and now he's going to have some good track position to set him up for possibly a good solid top 10 finish here, or maybe even top 15.
That's exactly what you're looking for. Christopher Norris, biggest mover so far tonight, up 16 positions from qualifying back in 25th. Some other big movers, Eric Stamp in 7th. He's going to be up 12 positions before he qualified. Our third biggest mover of the night, as he's right on the tail end of that of Ethan Smith and Ollie Fonseca. And then Gregory Shaw, our second biggest mover, up 14 positions. Started back in 18th and up to 4th. At 35, has been doing quite well for himself, as we're right on board with Gregory Shaw down into turn number 3.
Yeah, Shaw has been making big moves every single restart. I mean, when you put this guy on new tires, he's like a rocket ship. And right now, up to 4th, the highest position he's been up to all night long. Is Fonseca, though, going to look to the outside here off into 1. I don't know if he'll be able to get to that quarter panel like he wants to, as the 35 is going to be able to hold this position as they head off at 2. But yeah, again, Gregory Shaw showing if we got a short run to the end on brand new tires, he will be one to watch out for. He will definitely contend for possibly a top 5 if he can just keep it close enough when that caution or restart was to come.
Really big thing from 35 to watch out for, as he's going to have Ollie Fonseca on his back bumper. These drivers inside of the top 5. This is 4th and 5th place that we're watching, with that of Ethan Smith in the green 00 going to be in 6th, and as well that of Eric Stamp going to be back in 7th place. We're 87 laps into 150, and right now it's been Trent Jump practically leading every single lap. He was pressured by that of Thomas Green at moments. He's been pressured by other drivers, but right now the battling for 4th. It's back on. Fonseca to the inside, trying to make this pass work, and drifts up just slightly. That's the back out so he doesn't run into Shaw.
Yeah, this is some great racing going on back here for 4th. As the 24, man, he's tried to get it done there, but again, that outside line is the place to defend. But very, very close, almost, and maybe even a little bit of possible contact there on the entry between those two. And that got a little bit dicey there as I think Gregory was trying to close the door, but that 24 had the nose there.
They're going to continue to stay side by side, and Ethan Smith even had to come over the radio and say sorry to Stamp. He had to really check up. He wasn't sure how the drivers were going to react with one another. As Shaw seeing the wiggle from the 24, he'll go high, he'll go low, searching for any positioning to put that nose. And right now, will he dive it down low into turn one? Not going to be able to take it. He'll just follow suit for now. Certainly, the aggression up front is starting to kick in. Speaking of up front, Eric Kralik, fastest driver of our front three. He's closing in on our front two currently.
Yeah, and I watched Kralik there that last run before the end of the stage, and he had some good pace, man. He was able to stay within about 8/10 of that leader Trenton jump. He did have a little bit of trouble from John Forbes there as the run continued on. It was, hounding him. But I think Kralik is definitely in position here for a top three here tonight if he can just keep it solid here at this point. This 01, you never know. The 15, the 46, they started getting a little bit of their shenanigans there and start racing hard, coming down to the end and get into it. This 01 could be the driver in position to take over, or you never know, he might find something here in the closing laps here with about 60 to go crossing the line.
Apparently he's trying to close in that gap every little bit as we've been riding on board with the 01. Do want to give an update of drivers further back. Isaac Shelley, who was involved with the most recent incident and went for a barrel roll flip and landed smoothly. Well, his night not going to end as smoothly. He is done. Parking it in our first DNF is that 98. Was running up front before that incident happened. As Eric Kralik's closing in the gap here on Thomas Green. 60 laps to go, going to be 59 when they cross the line. I know we got some viewers out there in chat. We want to get your thoughts. Who are you thinking is going to get this win potentially? Is it Trent Jump, Thomas Green, Eric Kralik? That's our top three for now, but we've seen some drama here on Monday nights for the NAISCC Race Car Graveyard Truck Series. Can we see some more sparks fly and some other drivers flare out? We'll throw out who you think's going to win, who are you cheering for, as we've got ourselves seeing the laps trickling away.
Yeah, and look at this. The 01 starting to put the pressure on. We just started talking about Kralik. He's starting to put it on to this 15. And at that 15, before early in the race, he was able to stay a little bit closer to that 46. And I think that's due to that damage. That right front still very much a little bit of damage on that right front, and that is going to be hurting that truck not only in the corners but on that straightaway, and that is going to hurt your ability to draft up to that driver ahead of you. And that's where I think we're seeing this 15 struggle a little bit more, and I think as the run continues to go on, it'll only get worse from there as that right front temperature starts to build.
Well, as we're watching these drivers right now up front, for Kralik, he has done a great job of closing in that gap, but Zach, do you just follow in suit? At some point, Thomas Green is gaining, but at the same time, how do you even want to go for this pass? If Kralik has been closing in this gap, if you try to make a pass, you're going to lose time on our leader, Trenton Jump, as well put some tire wear on. At what point do you feel like it is go time? You have to try to go for the pass.
Yeah, that is, it's always the money, the $1 million question, I would say, as a driver is when to do this. Right now with a pit stop still looming, there's no reason I'd say here now in the position Kralik especially is in, is these top three are really starting to break away now from that pack behind with Fonseca about 1.3 back from our leader of Jump, who's, he's got a little gap even back to Shaw and Ethan Smith. So it's interesting to say, what timing will be the right time. But I think you got to wait till that last pit stop. That last pit stop, I've always said in my racing career, is the go time. Once you get that last pit stop in, there's no holding back at that point. You do everything you got. So we'll see when they want to elect to do that last pit stop, because that's the question mark for me, is what timing do they want to do? They want to break it down halfway, or do they want to undercut it, or just go the long distance and go very far and then pit late? There's definitely three different ways you can break down this race.
Definitely have been trying to pick and choose how they want to place themselves. We hop on board 5. Dakota Moniz, who's trying to close in on Christopher Norris. Norris has done a great job defending for 5th. But here comes the draft. Here comes the run. It's going to 5 down low for this 8th place position. But in a sense, that outside lane, it's still doing a great job defending with the runs you get out of the corner, as Norris holds on Moniz for now. But as you see him coming down into turn number 1, it's still side by side. Dakota Moniz to the inside, hoping to get any type of assistance. It's going to be seen that of Gaudio, GT Rizzari, and others waiting on how they want to pounce. And Norris doing a little bit of pinching here, not wanting to give as much space on the drivers coming back up on the track. That's a dangerous move. We've seen it backfire for some earlier in this race, but he keeps on that aggression. I think for Norris, recognizing I'm seeing all the advantage I once had really falling through my fingertips.
Yeah, Moniz finally gets that done there in the 5 machine, so up to 8th for him now, back to 9th for Norris there in the 54 machine, but we'll see what can Norris do here because Gaudio very quickly coming into the picture along with GT Rosari in the 14 machine there as they try to track down this 54. You also got Logan Breaky right on the back of this group too, so Norris can't look too far behind. He's got some hungry wolves here trying to get some positions here before their last pit stops.
For these drivers that are back here, I mean, some a little bit of surprising. GT Rosari, Logan Breaky, both, I think, surprising in my eyes that they're back here in 11th and 12th. I thought they were for sure going to be up around 7th and 8th and maybe even around 6th place with the speed they were showing in the early portions of stage 1. Back here, I mean, still just outside of a top 10 for GT Rosari. We're expecting this aggression, and here it comes to the inside. But the big thing for this 14 that I'm concerned about is the fact that he's got some nose damage that I think could be hindering him. Scadio goes extremely high once again, almost brushing that outside wall.
Yeah, any type of damage here at Charlotte, especially, I think is going to be a hindrance. So, you know, having that little bit of nose damage like GT does, I think that is going to be a good portion of speed loss. Even with just a little bit of a center punch like that, it's really not even that bad of damage. And I'd imagine he's got his pit crew to fix it completely here in iRacing. So, you know, he probably thinks it's not as bad as it is, but that right there will cause aero drag. It will slow you down, not only in the straightaways, but it also loses a little downforce in the corners. So, as you can see, that splitter, it's raised up just a little bit compared to the rest of the splitter. So, it's definitely tough, but, man, GT is doing a great job even with that damage here to be battling for a top 10.
Picking high, picking low, deciding which lane is going to get you moving in the right direction. They're going to be single file for now. As on our ticker, a little bit of a change going on for 5th place. That'd be Smith finally able to get by that of Gregory Shaw. And for this 00, he's also going to be seeing that of Eric Stamp now following suit as Shaw loses another position. Once again, we're getting to that point of the race where Shaw's tires so aggressive in the first 15 to 20 laps on a run. They're starting to falter for the 35, and he's going backwards. As Ethan Smith, on the other hand, he's deciding it's time to go forwards, being the fastest driver that last time by. This 00 decided it is the go button time, but being 2.4 seconds back from our leaders, a little bit further back than for my liking, but it's not completely out of the range for Ethan Smith to try to catch up to that of potentially Aaron Kralik as he's on the pass here for that of Ollie Fonseca.
Yeah, trying to make this move for that 4th position. And, yeah, like you said, Ethan Smith on the move here big time here late into this run. But I tell you, this is kind of the MO of this driver and almost the team. You know, teammates with John Forbes, they always seem to come on at the end of these races and always there battling for a top 5 position. And, you know, that right there screams to me that they will be right in the mix of it right when we come down to the championship. So Ethan Smith, one of those Final 4 last season, he's going to be trying to be right back in that mix once again. He's trying to get this done. This is such a hard pass to do and make this stick, but Fonseca doing a great job on the 24, being patient, not overdriving that outer groove, and he is making sure this 00 has to work hard for it. As now Eric Stamp, he's driving up into the picture also with this 53R winner from Atlanta.
Trying to make any types of moves, and now also is going to be the time for us to really think about strategy potentially here as we are closing in. We're now about that of, I would say, 6-7 laps from the opening window of these drivers thinking about making their pit stop here, and also can find themselves about 10 laps away from drivers thinking about pit stops. I think this is the opening that these drivers are waiting for. When will pit strategy be the key? And for Eric Stamp, Ethan Smith, pit strategy has been the main reason why both of them have found themselves in a victory lane.
Oh, no doubt. Strategy has definitely come back to help a lot of these drivers, and strategy can be the crucial thing that really helps you when you come down to this last decision-making of this race. And, you know, with us coming across the line, it's next time to go with 45 laps to go. We have plenty. Everybody's in the window if they pit right here to make it to the end of the race. They're just waiting for that perfect timing. You put a little bit too early, you may put yourself at risk to be on much older tires at the very end of this race and struggling when you don't want to be. But you gain that undercut of being able to be faster during the time while the rest of the drivers are out there on old tires. So it's an interesting scenario to see when they'll do this. But I think, like you said, Sam, about 6 laps away here, really about lap 110 is when we're going to start seeing possible people hit pit road. I think anywhere from 40 to go to 35 to go is when you're going to want to have that optimal pit stop.
And as we're seeing the battling right now, Eric Stamp and Ollie Fonseca. Fonseca's got to be careful of that outside wall. And as this is going on, talking about drivers, think about pit stops here. Well, not even getting to lap 110. Gregory Shaw not wanting to give up any more time. He's actually going to hit pit road as this battling GT Rizari, as well as Christopher Norris and Logan Brakey, going to be on top of one another. This is battling for the drivers for 8th place, trying to make some big moves for themselves. And GT Norris continuing to duel it back and forth with Zach. Gregory Shaw making this pit stop so early, and as well Cody Reed. I mean, that 25, he's parked it. He's done. That's a surprise for my eyes.
Wow, yeah, man, that the 3rd or 4th place man in points there, parking it for the night. So 25 going to take it behind the wall, and he was having a tough night already, falling off a lot there from that 5th starting spot. But now it's going to be Gregory Shaw. He's going to be our first one to test the waters. New tires, how much time can he gain here in this 35 machine as he's getting finally back up to speed on the track, but the rest of this group out here stays out.
And I have to relook as we continue to watch these drivers racing on. But Gregory Shaw might have done a very gutsy call. I want to confirm on this, and it is true. 2 tires only for the 35. He's just trying to gain as much as he can, and that's a wild call in my eyes, going with 2 tires.
That is what we call swinging for the fences, or the old Hail Mary play. And I worry about that because really the condition, the balance in the truck, and I'm watching him right now, he's definitely fighting that balance because the 35 of Gregory Shaw now on those 2 tires, this thing is going to want to over-rotate a lot more right side grip than that left side. It's going to want to over-rotate, and he's going to be fighting a loose race truck here for the first few laps while he tries to get some temperature on the right side of those tires. Once they get up the temp, he should be fine. It'll actually start to swing to the tight side, I believe. But, man, gutsy call, like you said, Sam. We'll see how it works out for him here. I don't know if it's the right one. It may work out, though, to get him a good, solid finish at least.
Some other drivers hitting pit road, going to be Cody Dorsey in the 9, as well as Ryan Ferraro, going to be one of our front runners, decided to come into pit road for the 12. We'll see how well they're going to be able to get themselves on a run. But this definitely is going to be a wild call for that of Gregory Shaw, a driver that I think both of us, Zach, would have thought 4 tires in a go, even with this pitting and doing an extreme undercut under the rest of the drivers ahead of him. Could have worked out great with the speed that he was willing to put down. But now is the question, just trying to gain an extra 3 seconds. How big of an advantage or disadvantage is that moving forward? As here's Tyler Dangler, who's running well back here in 21st, just trying to survive. First car on the lead lap. Got to be careful to go a lap down as the run continues on. But some close battling that's going on track for that of 6th place. Ollie Fonseca going to be under pressure from that of Dakota Moniz, as well as the battle for 8th place. Logan Brakey and GT Rizari are on top of one another. There's a couple of pods of groups that are on top of one another.
Oh, definitely some definite pods here, groups for sure, racing in. One of those pods that's forming up back up front is that 46 of Trenton Jump. He's got a little bit of a friendly 15 here behind him now, who has ran him down again on the long run. And I'm telling you what, with that damage, that 15 still looking very, very strong on the long runs. We'll see what he can do here, but these guys are waiting pretty long here, Sam, before they hit pit road. I'm thinking 115, maybe 120 will be the latest. We'll see him hit pit road, but right now it looks like nobody has flinched yet. When do they do it? It looks like they'll continue on this time.
A couple of other drivers outside the top 10 coming into pit road. That's going to be finding us with Alexander Light, Dad Kerry Tribune going to be both coming into pit road, as well as Carl Pooler going to be making their pit stops as we're on lap 114. As you are watching the NAISCC Race Car Graveyard Truck Series here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. It is the Armadillos digging for 225 presented by that of Colored Teal Graphics here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. My name is Sam Dyer. With me is Zach Hall, and as well Robert Moore running the productions behind the screens. As Zach, we're closing in on 30 laps to go and just 6 laps in. The field starting to make some big decisions as we still have a total of 18 drivers still needing to come into pit road.
Yeah, still 18 of them yet to pit there, and this is definitely getting down to the crucial point of when you think you're going to have to do it, because right here as they cross the line back next time by for our leaders, it's going to be 30 5 laps to go, and that's not that long of a distance. I think personally, you're not going to want to probably stay out longer than 25 to go. I think that's going to be the most you'll see majority of the field who want to have a shot for a good finish here with it going completely green. Look at this group here: 14
Oh,
of
no!
Zari, 3 of Gaudio, and man, Bogan almost in the back of the Bragoli.
Might have to take a different look at this, but yeah, I think he might have made contact with the way he came in and the way he stopped. That was a hard entry into pit road. Oh man, Bragoli, yeah, there was no contact, but certainly a very close entry, and somehow no one was caught speeding on entry, even with that aggressive entry for themselves.
Yeah, Bogan's got to be very lucky to get that thing slowed down. Usually when you lock up those tires like that, they don't slow down very well and they don't turn very well. And also a good case for him. He didn't run into his teammate there in that 7 machine. So, yeah, lucky group for that, guys. But, maybe Gaudio leaving pit road. I think he had a mistake. I think he got into the inside wall leaving pit road somehow.
And we got to take another look at that, but also another couple of drivers into pit road. Going to be Ethan Smith. It's Mark Morales Jr. Christopher, no, Spud! It's Trenton Jump! And Thomas Green just sending the 46 around. Yellow flag in the middle of pit stops, and this changes everything.
And we felt like it was going to happen at some point here between these two. The hard racing, it all seems to boil over at one point right there. And man, oh man, contact between the two racing for the lead up front. During pit cycles, this is going to catch a lot of people off guard.
There were only 9 drivers on the lead lap. Gregory Shaw, I believe, was going to be that last. It was between Shaw and John Forbes on who was going to get that, who was right around the bubble. As we take an aerial view of how this incident went down, it just pinch and away they go.
Yeah, it's like I said, you race hard so many times. You give each other so little room all these times over and over again. It's going to lead to something. And I don't know if maybe even Jump got a little bit loose on the exit that didn't allow him to get all the way up to that wall, because he was about a truck and a half off that wall. So pretty far off the wall there for exiting off of 4. And man, just contact between those two. And I don't know if that's the last contact we'll get to see between these two tonight or the rest of the season.
I mean, there's something about these tracks, man. As Thomas Green and also Trenton Jump, I mean, both very aggressive drivers. We think back to the last mile and a half race we were at. That was Las Vegas. The fireworks certainly did fly there, as 3 wide hard racing between that of Thomas Green, Trenton Jump, and as well Danny Cochran. Wrecked out Thomas Green. Danny Cochran finished off and taking out that of Trenton Jump, and all 3 drivers had their fireworks in a shrouded under controversy race at Las Vegas. Well, here tonight, the aggression piles in. We knew they were racing hard and aggressive on top of one another. It was all about when that well was just going to break open, and the dam certainly did, as Thomas Green finding himself spinning out the 46 of Trenton Jump. And Zach, I would imagine for Trenton Jump, he's kind of getting tired of this all season. He's found himself being spun around.
Yeah, he's been on the wrong end of the stick a lot of times, I feel like. And yeah, that's going to get old. And you're going to see him on the other end of the stick, I think, at some point. But, man, I tell you what, it is going to set up for an interesting little finish here, Sam, with this many laps left. It is unfortunate for the guys who pit there. I really feel for those guys because they got caught out in a pit situation there. Now it's going to really change the outcome for a lot of those drivers. But, if you're a guy like Trenton Jump, one good factor for him, he's got 2 teammates up here, Breaky and Stamp, right ahead of him. So he's going to have some friendly drivers here to race around.
And also, it's going to be causing these drivers from 10th all the way back to 21st, all going to be taking the wave around to get back onto the lead lap. They're going to be on older tires, so we'll see how well they're going to be moving along. John Forbes going to get that lucky dog position, but heavily damaged is the 11, as he'll be finding himself in pit road, trying to stay on the lead lap but get as much damage repair as possible. 18 drivers going to be raceable, though, and looking strong, going to be up front as Thomas Green, Eric Stamp, Eric Kralik, Dakota Moniz, Dylan Walterman, Logan Breaky, Trenton Jump, and Gregory Shaw going to be those 8 drivers. But once again, it seems like it's every single time we get to the end of these races, Zach, Thomas Green having a little bit of internet issues. He's got to make sure they can stay connected to the server.
Yeah, no, we've seen him have those issues before, and I think also some of those issues have taken him out of a race, if I'm not mistaken, at some point during this season. So, yeah, that's gonna set up for an interesting scenario with this. So, we'll see how it works out for him. Hopefully, no connection issues there that take him out of this. But man, I think he's got other issues to be worrying about right now about keeping this lead and trying to get away from this field because I don't think he's going to want that 46 to be able to get back to him.
All right, so here's the scenario. 30 laps to go. We had to see a little bit of a short stint like this, the end of stage 1, and it was a lot of hard racing going on there, but it was Trenton Jump finding himself winning at stage 1. He's going to be now mired back to 7th position. And Zach, I think the main question I got to throw at you is where it's going to be less than 30 laps to go. Trenton Jump's going to be back in 7th place. How aggressive can this 46 be on his tires to get back up to 2nd, potentially try to make the pass for the lead before those tires aren't really going to be usable?
Yeah, that's the good question. How hard can he push to where the tires are still going to be able to make something difference up there with the 15 and Thomas Green, who we've seen be a little bit better as the run goes on, possibly all night long. You know, the one thing I will say that helps out, you know, the 46, he didn't get any damage from that incident. It seems like he was able to keep it completely clean, maybe on a little bit of spoiler damage to the left side, but I mean, he should be able to have enough tire, I think, to be able to get this done. It's just going to be the factor of, you know, how is he going to get through traffic? Like I said, luckily 2 of those drivers are his teammates, so I don't think it'll be as hard. But man, will he get it done is the huge question, and I think there's time. I think there's definitely plenty of time, and it doesn't seem like he starts to fall off really till about lap 35, and you know, we're past that point.
Well, also about the team aspect, Eric Stamp going to be in 2nd place on the outside of Thomas Green. We've seen teammates in other races try to get retaliation and payback for what happens to another driver. Could that be a time for Eric Stamp? Again, it's been strategy on why the 53 won at Atlanta fuel run wise. He's been running Meyer back in that of 5th and 6th on this last run, but he certainly has carved his way through. One of our bigger movers is Eric Stamp. Biggest mover so far going to be that of Dylan Walterman, up 19 positions, up 16 to Dakota Moniz in 4th, and then we have Eric Stamp up 17 positions, up in 2nd. Well, the fireworks have already set off. Will they continue? It's time to go green with less than 30 laps to go. That is Thomas Green going to be our leader. Great launch for himself. Kralik, though, going to get a little bit of a wheel spin for himself. He holds on for now as Eric Stamp drops down the lead 3/4 tenths down into turn number 1.
Yeah, and Thomas Green liked that there this time. He was able to control that restart, get a giant jump out here, and he's going to have a big gap for these drivers to make up. As this 3 wide here off the exit and 2 is going to break you up top, jump down low, and in the middle it's Walterman.
And there's all the racing that's going on up front, further back for all the drivers that had to take the wave around. They're also wrecking for a quick moment, but watch out. Walterman gets some contact into the wall, and oh boy, Ollie Fonseca holds on for a second there. John Forbes slides on by, but here comes the roar of all the drivers that had to take the wave around. They're coming right below the 1. Trying to get out of the way and clean as Trent Jump. He's going to be up to 6. Still a lot of work for himself, but here's going to be Dylan Walterman falling back, dropping low. And speaking about dropping low, drivers spinning and spilling. There's a wreck further back. Shaw going to be sliding down low. We stay green, but Shaw, major issues for himself as he continues to get rolling. But very odd to see Shaw having that issue, and that's also going to be hurting, I believe that was Logan Brakey, who had to get out of sorts for himself there. Coming out of turn 2 as well as the drivers continue to race on. It's going to be scary to see, but Trent Jump now up to 5th, and now going to be seeing some other drivers. How well can they carve their way through as the laps continue to tick away?
Oh man, here goes Jump on the move on Fonseca there to see what he can do on this 24 machine. Oh, we'll see who can get by here. Sorry, actually, yeah, no, this is that group there. Sorry, Trenton Jump there getting by Fonseca. I believe actually is Fonseca. Yeah, he's a lap down back here in the 22nd position, so he's battling hard here with a lead lap car here.
Yeah, and all oh boy, get loose, holds on. It's going to be that of Trent Jump, who got out of shape there. Was dirt tracking out of the corner and certainly going to be losing a lot of time. Ollie Fonseca, I believe, was part of the issue of drivers that got loose. Actually was part of the drivers that decided not to take a wave around, and Trent Jump lost a little bit of time with Dylan Walterman's issue, and now going to be losing even more time with that loose sensation. Drivers up front, though. Thomas Green finding himself with a 3/10 gap over Eric Stamp. Stamp's been slowly trying to carve out this lead. Same with Eric Kralik, but with the way that they've been catching up just ever so slightly, Zach, I would say the 15, he's saving those tires just for the last dash.
Yeah, I mean, that would be the smart thing to do. You got a gap like that. You do not want to go out there and keep pushing too hard. Definitely want to save those tires and make them last. But look at this. Eric Stamp goes high. Aaron Kralik down low. Looks like Stamp was probably just going to let the 01 go, and I think that's just a super smart move from Stamp. Look at that racecraft there. He notices the 01's pushing really hard. Maybe he can latch onto the back of this 01, let the 01 carry him up to the 15 while not overworking his tires. This is a smart move here from this 53 machine. Again, showing why his strategies and all his racecraft has been really good this season to put him in the positions he's been in to get that one win.
He's trying to keep on moving his way forward, and that's what we're seeing right now. Is Eric Kralik going to be doing everything in his power? He's now carved it less than 4/10, but can he get it any closer to the 15? And Thomas Green, how much of a spacing is he going to give himself to the other drivers behind? Does he want to get aggressive here as the laps continue to dwindle away? We're going to be finding ourselves close here to 20 laps to go in 2 laps. And Thomas Green, Eric Kralik, Eric Stamp, right now all within a half a second of one another, but a little bit over a second and a half. That's where we find Trenton Jump back in 5th place. Still a lot of work to be done for the 46 if he wants a chance to get a little bit of revenge on that of Thomas Green.
Yeah, he's got a lot of work to do, and unless we get a caution, I don't think he's going to have enough time to get this done. But he can still drive up into a podium position, no doubt here. I think he's still well within grasps of that. Here, we'll have to see what happens here as the run continues on. But here he's going back to the inside of Fonseca, who we see was racing real hard as a lap car, and that's what got him loose there before on the inside of him. We'll see what does Trenton Jump and how does he race this 24 machine. Because also right up ahead of him, that's the Cut News. That's the 4th place truck that he needs to be getting by. We'll see what happens to this group here.
How aggressive do you want to be? Olive Fonseca continuing to be aggressive here, being that of the first driver 1 lap down, trying to make sure that he stays as the first car 1 lap down. The reason why Fonseca has to drive so aggressive here, the main thing, Gregory Shaw actually was involved with a spill, again, that about 10 laps ago, and that 35 soon and is now going a lap down. So Olive Fonseca needs to still be aggressive and keep up his pace. He doesn't want to give up too much ground because he's trying to get by the 35 at this moment.
Yeah, that's very true. He cannot lose too much pace. Like you said, he needs to be getting by that 35 machine to try to put himself in the right spot to get that lap back. So we'll see how that works out for him. But right now, you can see he is still racing super hard with Trenton Jump, who Jump at some point here is going to have to make something happen if he's going to want to go up here and try to get himself up into that podium spot.
It looks like Olive Fonseca finally going to give a little bit of an opening, and this is going to be force these drivers to go 3 wide through the corner because Shaw is going to be there. They're going to still stay side by side, and there they come, coming up to Gregory Shaw. Going to try to use the 35 as a pick, potentially, is Trenton Jump. But where does Shaw going to go? Is he going to go extremely high? And he does. They're now going to 3 wide turns, 3, and into the wall is Shaw, and 35. What was looking like a great run for himself, now going up in smoke as he continues to scrape his way through. Some other drivers, here's Logan Brakey, 6th place. He's got to be careful. GT Rosari is closing in, but a great pass by Trenton Jump because now he's right in the back bumper of Dakota Moniz for his 4th place position.
Yeah, that was so crucial for this 46 machine if he wants to be able to drive up here and try to have any chance at even a podium or a victory, because right now he's about 1.9 seconds back, almost 2 seconds back from our leader of the Thomas Green, and Eric Kralik and Eric Stamp. Both of those are starting to build a gap there on Dakota Moniz. So right now the thing is going to be, can he get around the 5 quick enough to get himself up there? But man, Dakota having one of the best runs of his season right here in this 5 machine.
Dakota trying to go potentially for his first top 5 of the season. And the same thing can be said for Thomas Green. We haven't gotten the chance of seeing 2 drivers get their first top 5 of the season here for race number 11. But at the same time, we're coming up to that of just a couple of more laps to go. I mean, 15 laps to go from here on out. Zach, still anything can happen. We already saw the fireworks of our leaders making contact, further back. Some of the drivers are battling for every single position possible. They can bring out a yellow at any moment.
Oh, no doubt. There's definitely more than just these battles going on. His second was starting to heat up a little bit. Kralik actually holds on to second right now, but Eric Stamp was to his inside down in 1 and 2 for that third spot. So we'll see. Does the 53 have enough for the 0-1? As he's going to be trying to run down that 15 machine up front to see if he can try to go for this win. But Kralik definitely battling hard for that second spot. Is now up for that second spot. You can see it. Eric Stamp there. He going to the outside.
Over to the outside, wasn't able to get down to the inside lane for himself. We also stay on board with Dakota Moniz because he's about to be pressured here by Trenton Jump. But for the battle for second, it's going to be Eric Stamp to the inside down into turn number 3, and he'll make the pass for second place for now. But he's not able to really get back up to speed. It's going to be the exit. Can the 53 run up? Because I think for Stamp, he's recognizing it's go time. If he does not take off right now, that 15 might be too far and too gone to even have a chance to battle for the lead.
Yeah, Stamp has got to get done if he wants to go forward right now. Kralik, though, battling like it's the last laps, in which it is. So he's trying to hold on to this podium spot. And what this is doing, this is bringing Moniz and Jump right into this picture for this second and third position. This is going to get a little interesting. And to tell you what, Thomas Green, he's definitely breathing a lot less heavy as he's starting to build the gap here on the rest of the field.
Almost a full second as second place continues to stay side by side, and Jump closing in on Dakota Moniz, and Moniz also closing in on this battle for second place. The harder that Kralik and Stamp continue to wear down one another, and also another lap driver could be a factor here late. That's going to be seen potentially Cody Dorsey, going to be another driver as we watch this battle for fourth. Moniz, Trenton Jump, where do you want to place yourself? And for Trenton Jump, I think if anything, yes, he wants to make this pass, but actually following Dakota Moniz is actually helping the 5 close in on our at least second and third place right now.
Yeah, when you battle, you go so much slower side by side. So I think that's what he's learned. He's knowing, hey, we're gaining on both those two up front. There's no need to make a pass right now, especially if the 5 is gaining on him. If he's not holding you up, just stay with him for now. And then when you get the right moment, you might be able to make that pass and get yourself back up into a podium spot.
Continuing to duel back and forth, who's going to be able to make this pass? And also, if we get a late yellows, we're coming up to 10 laps to go. All drivers still have one more set of tires to work with. Question is, who would come in and take that set? Or would you think about staying out, as we are now in the 10 laps to go here at the Immortales, digging for 225, presented by that of Color Teal Graphics, as it's going to be that of Thomas Green leading for now. Eric Kralik, Eric Stamp, Dakota Moniz, and Trent Jump, your top 5 as we're coming up to 9 laps to go.
Yeah, we're coming to 9 to go here, and it looks like possibly Jump there running out of a little bit of steam here as this run continues on. And, you know, we got to think about it. This is really the first time all night he's had to deal with dirty air. Hasn't really had that factor. He qualified right up there in that second position, got to the lead early in this race, and has been able pretty much to hold it from that point with between him and Thomas Green, and really has not felt the air like he has back here. Look at that, into the outside wall, and just like that, that dirty air playing the big factor. That 46's night has gone from terrible to worse.
And his any chances of trying to catch up to Thomas Green are now snuffed out unless a yellow comes out for himself. So it goes back up to the battle for second place. Kralik, Eric Stamp, they're slicing and dicing the 53, trying to do a little bit of do-si-do, and finally gets to the inside of the 0-1, going down into turn number 1, and Stamp, he's got to hold on, he's drifting up, and finally gets a little bit of clearance, but here comes Kralik potentially with a crossover move on the backstretch.
Oh man, we'll see. Does Kralik try to pull the same move that the 53 just pulled on him? But gotta say, great move by Eric Stamp there. Got the slider done, slid up in front of the 0-1, and was able to get away. But now behind those two, you're going to have Moniz not too far behind with 7 laps to go. It's anybody's game here from second on back.
Now Eric Stamp, he's got to be careful because the harder they race, here comes the 5, Dakota Moniz. And it's now turning into a 3-horse race for who's going to get second, as Thomas Green continues to pull away, coming up to 6 laps to go when they cross the line. As these drivers battle on top of one another. I mean, this has been a wild race for sure for these 150 laps that we're trying to put down. Thomas Green trying to go coast to coast, getting the pole and trying to also get the win potentially. 6 laps to go, and he's hoping we stay green.
What a story of a season so far it's been for Thomas Green's, the ups, the downs, and many of them have been downs, I would say, for him. So it's it's good to see that him rebounding here tonight, and it might be clouded on a little bit of controversy even too with contact between him and Trenton Jump. But he'll be coming to 5 to go, looking for a first top 5, and that first win of the season is, look at this, Moniz, he's trying to break up into the top 3 with 6 to go, as Stamp is trying to stamp her away. You're seeing this 5 machine trying to get his best run of the season.
Couple of drivers having their best run. Thomas Green, Dakota Moniz, both of the highest runners with their best run so far. They're just wanting this race to stay green, so you don't have to have any mind games of do you need to come in and take tires or not. As Cody Dorsey going to be the driver, the lap driver that we're trying to get by currently. As the 5 moves up to 3rd, Dakota Moniz. I mean, it's been a while since we've talked to the 5. It's been a while since we talked to the 15. But this has been a great run to watch from Dakota Moniz. Qualified back in 20th position. And for Eric Stamp, who's in 2nd, he qualified in 19th. Both of these drivers have been attached to the hip, carving their way forward. And right now, tied for the biggest movers of the day is the drivers of Eric Stamp in 2nd and Dakota Moniz in 3rd. 4 laps to go, as it's going to be all Thomas Green for now.
Yeah, Thomas Green just needs to make it back at this point. Right now, Eric Stamp actually starting to run him down just a little bit here in the closing laps. But Moniz able to drive up to 3rd. That's going to be his best finish of this season up to this point. It's been a 7th place finish there at Bristol earlier in the season. And then even looking back to last season, I mean, he had a 5th, a 6th place finish there at Eldorn and Rockingham, and he had the win at Talladega. So going all the way back to Talladega, back in January 10th, this is going to be the best run we've seen for that 5 machine.
And as we're coming up to 2 laps to go, update for that 5th place battle. Logan breaking Trenton Jump for the teammates, just an easy swap. Trenton Jump, too much damage. After clobbering the wall, he'll now falter back to 6th. Breaky now going to move up to 5th. Great run for the 29 as well.
Yeah, they definitely picked the right race to sponsor. Unfortunately, Jump, it's not going to end well for him after the contact between him and the 15. But I tell you what, that group as a whole had a lot of speed here tonight, and it's showing right here is with 2 to go. You got Stamp up in 2nd, Breaky in 5th, and Jump there in 6th.
And for that of Thomas Green, going through 3 and 4, all he wants to see is that white flag. And once it's out, it's official. Also closing in on some lap traffic. That's going to be Alexander Light in the 97. But across the line, it's our Fletcher Flores white flag in the air. Thomas Green trying to make his way through lap traffic and a little bit more of aggression. Watch out, Light putting the pressure on our leader there. Coming at turn number 2.
Oh, yeah, definitely got a little dicey there between him and the lap car, Alexander Light, but no pressure now as they head down the back straightaway. As they'll hit 3 and 4 for one final time, he's going to be a first-time winner here in the Truck Series.
The over-aggression all season long, all the DQs, all the times being taken out, but not tonight. Charlotte, it's going to go to Thomas Green, finally getting to victory lane in his best finish of the season. And same could be said for our 3rd place finisher, Dakota Moniz. Both drivers, Zach, getting their first top 5s of the season.
Man, oh man, great run there from Moniz. Great job by Green getting that first win, but definitely there's going to be some talking points after this race, man, and I think you might see an unhappy driver here coming through the field here at the very end.
I would imagine a few unhappy drivers on how this one went for themselves, and the one driver that's happy, that's Thomas Green. I mean, he finally gets the monkey off his back of when is he going to get the win. He's had so many great runs throughout this season, and the 15 now can finally say that he is a winner in the NAISCC Race Car Graveyard Truck Series. And for season 2 and for race number 11, comes in 6th in points, 0 wins, 0 top 5 finishes, and finally he is officially locked in with no worries as he gets to burn it down here on the front stretch.
Yeah, he's going to get this big victory. This is huge for him. Like I said early in the race when we started, this could be the momentum that triggers him to go on a few more of these wins and finally, start to get those finishes. Like we said, it's been bumps and bruises for him for majority of the season, but tonight it's been a spectacular run for the 15.
Well, for us up in the booth, we're going to step aside as 15 gets to burn it down. When we come back, we're going to talk to our top 3, Dakota Moniz, Eric Stamp, and our winner, the 15 of Thomas Green. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Freaky Fast Broadcasting for the post-race show of the NAISCC Race Car Graveyard Truck Series. Tonight, race number 11 of 13 at Charlotte for the Armadillos Digging for 225, presented by Colored Teal Graphics. A wild one, more storylines, more drama, and it's just packing us in for the playoffs here in just a couple of weeks. But first, before we get to those storylines, we got ourselves our top three finishers. We got third place runner, the number 5 at Dakota Moniz. Get our thoughts from one of the best finishes of the year for the 5. Dakota, it's Sam and Zach up the booth. How you feeling? You got a third place finish here tonight.
Honestly, feeling pretty freaking great. I can't lie to you guys.
Yeah, Dakota and Sauce and Zachary, man, congrats on third, man. What a drive for yourself in that 5 machine. Drove yourself up into the top 10 there in the stage, right there, getting those stage points. But, man, it just slowly, ever from there, you just kept picking it up and you're able to bring it home in third. And what a crucial one, too, coming in here 16th in points, man. How much does this mean to you?
Honestly, it means the world. I mean, it feels just as good as a win, to be completely honest with you. Just had some real bad luck, as you guys know. But yeah, that first run I felt real fast, and I was picking them off slowly as people started burning up their stuff. And then yeah, just as the race progressed, we just kept picking them off and found ourselves in third place.
I mean, Dakota, this is such a massive finish for yourself. You come in as our bubble driver, 16th in points. How much pressure are you feeling it on the point side of things, or have you just been focused on, I just want to take it race by race?
Honestly, just trying to take it race by race. Just trying to go race at a time and just finish the race first and foremost, be there at the end, and hopefully the results will show themselves. And so far, so good.
Certainly have. We got 2 more races to go at Kansas and Richmond, but I gotta say, Dakota, you're looking good and stout to make it into the playoffs. But before we let you go, we're gonna give the floor to you for any shout outs.
Yeah, just shout out to my teammate Tyler. Shout out to him for making my paint schemes, and shout out to all the sponsors, and special shout out to you guys. You guys do an amazing job, and we're lucky to have you guys broadcasting.
That's going to be Dakota Moniz in the number 5, coming away with a third place finish here tonight at Charlotte. Congratulations on that, and good luck going into Kansas next week.
All right, thank you, boys.
As now we got third place finisher, that of Eric Stamp in the 53. Almost had an opportunity to go after our leader, but just didn't have enough there late. But still a great run for the Color Teal Graphics 53 machine. Eric, it's Sam and Zach up at the booth. How you feeling? Second place finish, tied with our biggest mover of the day with Dakota Moniz. How do you think your day went for yourself?
I, man, the only thing I could have done better was not roll over for Aaron on that restart because I felt bad about blocking him because I was just talking with Thomas and he gave it everything he had, so I think I had something for him if I didn't burn my right front off. But no, this was an amazing day with after how bad I qualified. I couldn't be happier with it.
Yeah, definitely a great rebound there from that qualifying spot there, Eric. I tell you what, man, I mean, looking at the stats, mile and a half has been your place to go this season. Las Vegas had 7th, Chicagoland 6th, and then the win in Atlanta. Now the second place here tonight. I mean, man, you got to be looking forward to any mile and a half we got left on the season.
Oh, for sure. Especially here at Charlotte, I've always loved the tire saving at this track. It's always just it's either so tight or so loose that you have to roll the corners, and I did it too much at the start, but once I figured that right rhythm, it was hooked up and going.
But Eric, you've already got your win at Atlanta earlier in the season, but how are you feeling about these next 2 races, Kansas and Richmond, coming up?
Kansas, I'm worried because it feels very draft heavy. But then I feel like Richmond, again, it's a case of how well can you treat your truck, treat your tires, and just give it all you got at the end. And biggest thing is staying out of trouble at these tracks too, because Kansas, any amount of damage, you're just down on straights for the rest of the race, and Richmond's Richmond.
Well, overall, a great run for yourself there, Eric. And before we let you go, the floor is yours for any shout outs.
Well, of course, we have to shout out to Color Teal Graphics, giving me amazing trucks all season, giving the whole team amazing trucks, putting the logo up for this race. Just really fun deal. Happy it got put together, and got to thank Trenton Jump too. He was he wasn't talking to me, but he was talking. He was telling me everything he was doing, and it helped a bit at the end there too, knowing what he was doing to be fast.
Well, you certainly proved that you could be quick there late. Second place finish for yourself. Congratulations on that, and good luck going into Kansas next week.
Thank you, boys. Take care.
And after that, we go to the driver that finally cracked the top 5 and also now we can say he's a winner for Season 2 of the NAISCC Race Car Graveyard Truck Series. We got ourselves Thomas Green here up in the booth. And Thomas, we've been talking about it for the last couple of weeks. Shocked you still haven't gotten a top 5. Well, why not just get a win? Why don't you get it done here tonight? How you feeling after getting this one?
Yeah, I feel pretty good, honestly. Uh, we had a little run in with Trenton. I watched the replay. I kind of came up, but he also wasn't against the wall, and it was just a tough scenario. But yeah, I mean, it feels good to finally rifle off that win. I feel like we probably could have had maybe 3 already, but just I don't even know what to say. I'm kind of speechless right now. But finally got a top 5. That's what I'm more excited about.
Yeah, it definitely a great run, man. I tell you what, great to see you in the top 5. Not only but get that win too, Thomas, because like you said, it does feel like at this point you could have had about 3. Up to this point, maybe even more, man, with the pace you've had. But tonight, man, I think it really came down to you looked really, really strong as the runs continue to go on. It seemed like you could stay in that second spot, ride in the dirty air, and actually begin to make pace there about 30 laps into the run compared to the rest of the field. I mean, even catching right front damage there, kind of a roller coaster of a race for you. Man, how did you keep that pace under the truck with some good damage there on the right side, actually?
Yeah, I really think it kind of came down to just kind of keeping the left front clean, just staying clean air, and just I mean, there was times where Trenton was running, as low as I could possibly go to try to keep my left front in clean air. But yeah, I definitely think around lap 30 we started to pick up the pace a lot, and I think that just kind of came to just backing it up, letting him get out a little bit so I could have some cleaner air and just kind of save my right front a little bit. Also try to drive off the rear of the car in the restarts a little bit more, kind of save the right front, burn the rears a little bit more, so it's a little bit looser long run. But yeah, just trying to give him a gap and then try to build it back as the run went on definitely helped.
I mean, Thomas, I think the big thing also, we watch how you have been fast all season long, but still have been struggling and being kind of in a slump. Do you feel like the aggression level, yes, has got you the win here tonight, but how much do you feel like the aggression could be backfiring to you? And are you feeling like, all right, the monkey's on my back, I can still be aggressive from here on out?
Yeah, I think at this point of the season, it's kind of just go, go, go. The aggression has obviously picked up. I noticed that at Vegas, obviously, we had a lot of really close racing, a lot of 3 wide action, a lot of really just tight racing overall. And, I think just with how much it's all picked up, especially with the playoffs right around the corner in a couple weeks, I think it's only going to get crazier when the playoff starts. And yeah, being aggressive, has its toll. You can definitely make some enemies that way, but I feel like you kind of have to put the elbows up in some places, in order to get wins. I mean, I struggled all season, try to play just a little bit safer and try to be there at the end, and I ended up just getting caught up in a bunch of wrecks and stuff that maybe not wasn't even my fault. I definitely had a couple wrecks that were my fault, but yeah, just you can make enemies, but you got to find a balance of when to push and when to be clean.
Well, I gotta say, Thomas, tonight you certainly put on a show, and now we can say, with you getting this win, you're back on that threat scale of someone that we know could potentially win the championship this year. But before we let you go, the floor is yours for any shoutouts.
I just want to shout out Premier Motorsports and shout out to you guys for broadcasting. I love watching them back after the races, and this one's definitely going to be an enjoyable one.
That's going to be Thomas Green in the 15. Going to be our 8th newest winner of the season out of 11 races. Congratulations on winning here at Charlotte, and good luck going into Kansas next week.
Thank you, guys.
Absolutely crazy racing we saw here. Again, the contact between Thomas Green and that of Trent Jump. Obviously going to be one of the moments that we're going to talk about a lot here, Zach, in the upcoming weeks. But hey, Thomas Green finally got himself a top 5, and to cap it off, it also was a win.
Yeah, he was definitely happy about, like you said, to get top 5, but to get the win on top of that, I think this is going to open up a different zone for him. It's going to probably, it's probably been a lot on his mind about, man, I've been fast enough to win these races, but I just can't get there and get it done. I know, if I was in that position as a driver, it would really be a mental battle at that point. And maybe this could be that way of breaking through that mental battle and really getting that confidence. Because I'm telling you, it does come down to talent. A lot of talent is out here on the racetrack. We see that each and every night. But I'm going to tell you what, it mostly comes down to really who gets done at that night when it comes down to it. So can he have the confidence to get it done? I think he will now that he has this win. It's going to be interesting to see, Sam.
Certainly is. And before we get done with tonight, let's take a look here at where the drivers finished off for our unofficial results for tonight here at Charlotte for that of the Armadillos. Digging for the 225 presented by Color Teal Graphics. Up front, going to be that Thomas Green, Eric Stamp, Dakota Moniz. Got to talk to them during our post-race show. Coming up just outside the top three, going to be Eric Kralik, Logan Brickey in fifth. Trent Jump going to take away sixth place after clobbering the wall and trying to move up to that top three position. With also GT Irizarry coming away with a seventh. Ryan Ferraro, John Forbes, and Dylan Walterman taking our top 10 positions. You look at the rest of the field, though, I mean, there were some drivers, Trabue, Tamer, they were looking for better races. The damage really tacked on with that. But Ollie Fonseca, we even saw it in the chat, caught up with a penalty, but those penalties, you got to hope that you don't get them, and sometimes you need a little bit of luck. The luck was not on the side of the 24.
No, it was not. The timing just wasn't there for the 24 when it comes to hitting pit road. And you never want to be in that position as a driver, but he's got to finish back there in 20th. And I even look back to Gregory Shaw having a great run all night, had so much speed on the short runs. Back to 24th with that mistake there, getting loose there at the end. And man, oh man, that's just a tough break for him. Also, Cody Reed, one of our best drivers in the points there, right there in the mix of it. And Isaac Shelley running well also back in 26. He's going to finish dead last. So, yeah, tough break for a lot of drivers here tonight at Charlotte. But, man, I think we saw some great racing, and I can't wait to see what these next few weeks got to offer because it's getting down to that time, Sam, where the playoffs are right around the corner.
They really are. And before we get to our final thoughts of the night, got to give big thanks to some of the sponsors that we kind of forgot to touch on. That of LP24 Clothing. If you're looking to get affordable, great quality clothing with a great price, well, go get yourself hats, hoodies, t-shirts, and beanies, all in so many different sizes and colors at LP24 Clothing. Go to their Instagram at LP24 Clothing for more information and go make your order today. As well, Advanced Sim Racing, they're the one-stop shop to go get yourself a racing chassis as well as go get yourself wheel monitor stands. They've got you covered, and use our promo code FreakyFast5 to get 5% off. And as well, ButtKicker, feel what you've been missing. Go get yourself a Gamer 2. Instead of just hearing the sounds, why not feel the sounds as well? Get yourself a Gamer 2 and use our promo code FreakyFast20 for 20% off at purchasing for ButtKicker. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us. And Zach, Charlotte, it was a cat's fireworks there at the end. But man, what are some of your thoughts here and as well heading to Kansas?
Well, we've seen a great race here tonight, first off. It was some great racing. And, one thing is Charlotte, I was thinking they were going to be a little more packed up, and not break away from each other as easily. But we definitely seen differences in speed between the groups. So that was interesting to see. But we've seen the fireworks fly between Thomas Green and Trenton Jump. They always race each other so hard there. I do think that was just a racing ordeal between those two. And that's what's going to happen when you race that hard. You're going to have racing incidents that end up in somebody getting the bad end of the stick. And it seems like Trenton Jump a lot of times ends on that side of the things. And I know he's probably going to get tired of that. So we'll have to see how the train continues on as we head to Kansas. I'm just excited, man, because Kansas, they're going to be, I think, a little bit more on top of each other. I think it'll play a little bit differently in this race. I think they'll be fighting for what groove is the best. But I'm excited to see how that's all going to shape up because this truck series, they know how to put on a show. That's indeed for sure.
That is true. The NAISCC Race Car Graveyard Truck Series on Monday night here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. They put on another fabulous show. This is race number 11. It's done. It's dusted. We got 2 more races left in the regular season before we get to playoff racing action. Those 2 next races going to be at Kansas and Richmond. You don't want to miss a thing. Join us here on Monday night. Hey, if you can't make it, to next Monday night, hopefully you can see us throughout the week. We got 2 more races going on. We're going to be seeing Wednesday. That's short track racing here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. And Zach, that's going to be a good one to cover, and you're going to be a part of it, as well as we're going to be seeing that Saturday night. We find ourselves with the WSSR iRacing iFlat Cup Series. They had a spectacular race that last Saturday. They're going to have another one. Don't miss it. And if you can't make those 2 races, don't worry, we got Kansas next Monday night. for more NAISCC Race Car Graveyard Truck Series action. For myself, Sam Zyer, for Zach Hall, and for Robert Moyer in the production booth, thank you for joining us here tonight. We'll see you at the next one. Have a good one, everybody.